20 years ago, demons shattered the divine barrier and invaded, sparking a brutal war that's raged ever since. After 10 years of chaotic war, the People-S Mage unleashed a massive firestorm. Humans and demons clash with magic and steel. Warriors hold the line as the Demon Lord screams, "Die!" and the charge begins. In a final, desperate clash, the hero unleashed his full power to crush the Demon Lord and end the 10-year war. 10 years later, the world is healing, and the royal capital is back to normal. A crossed sword sign marks the central guild. Inside the adventurer hub, a clerk scribbles in a ledger. The bearded bartender stares at the note in shock. What happened to his visitor this time? He muttered, "It was nothing." The room felt like a cozy tavern, buzzing with voices and the scent of ale. Slumped at the counter and lost in thought, he lifelessly announces his resignation. Meet Theodore, an adventurer. Theodore tries to retire, but no one believes him. He fought the Demon Lord in the hero's party, but Theodore just laughs, insisting he was only a handyman. He used to do the dirty work. Now he's just an adventurer. Victor kept his cool, admitting that losing even one member could seriously weaken the guild. Theo didn't know what was coming, but he didn't care if the task board was empty. Victor says peace cut the workload, but Theodore notes dungeons are now for rookies. Victor recalls the hero's massive payout. Theo agrees he's got more money than he can spend in a lifetime. Theo matched the rookie's pace, making Victor wonder why he'd quit, until the screen revealed he's only 35. Theo confesses he's always wanted a quiet life. Staring at his mug, he says he's just exhausted, leaving Victor baffled. Theo's deadly serious look stunned the guildmaster, who immediately pressed him for his next move. Theo looked away, finally admitting the real reason he became an adventurer. Orphaned at 10, he was raised by adventurers and worked tirelessly to return the favor. He was lucky to find this crew. They treated him like one of their own, and he finally felt at home. Born with 3 skills, his first display left everyone stunned. His first skill is appraisal, letting him instantly identify items like herbs perfect for life on the road. Second is crafting. He can build and repair gear, making him useful in any situation. Third, taming. He understands and recruits monsters to skip the fight. These 3 skills are game changers, sparking fights over who recruited him first. Feel remembers a girl approaching. She flashes him a grin. Surrounded, he remembers joining the hero squad the moment everything changed. War is over, the heroes disbanded, and he asks what the MC will do now. He decides to buy a wilderness farm. Growing up in a village, he already knows how to work the land. The guildmaster's shocked he's swapping quests for crops, but he just wants to be useful in peacetime. Victor shocks Theo by suggesting he explore the new world. He spoke of a mystery continent, born after the Demon War, a land never seen before, with unknown origins. Victor reveals the continent appeared because the demon barrier broke, and the first expedition launches soon. Victor says his skills are perfect for the new continent and tells him to think it over. Victor warns this could be the hero's final quest. Pointing to the uncharted wilds, he asks for his take. He pictured a sunny forest hut, dreaming of a quiet life. A quiet life in uncharted lands. He could get used to that. The bearded man invites him along, and the flustered hero accepts. Hesitating, the MC signs, the old man's thrilled things are looking up. He warns the unpredictable new continent needs every veteran they can get. The old man hesitates, but the MC just smiles and scratches his head. Theodore's glad to finish his final mission with Victor, who vows the guild will never forget his legacy. After the guild, he spent his remaining time prepping for the journey. Theo hit the store to stock up. Next, he meets his squad. Leaving his comrades at the tavern, he mutters a single word: Finally, Theodore hits the port and eagerly loads the waiting ships. He lands in the port city of Colioli. After a month of prep, he hits the port for the new world. He looks ready, but deep down, he's nervous. A little girl spots him in the city, shouting joyfully as she catches up. The girl hands the hero candy with a smile, her kindness making him beam back. Hero thanks her for the treat, gives a quick head pat, and warns that his path only gets harder from here. Victor says the world's changed in 10 years, and the hero realizes just how much. Victor says they've been waiting forever. Shocked, the hero asks why he's back after their final goodbye. Victor wasn't just there for a goodbye, he looked ready to drop a massive decision. Silence hits the port as birds scatter. The hero freezes, clueless about Victor's plan. He reminds them he's swimming too, with Victor leading the teens. The kid asks if he's for real, and Victor doubles down. Having seen his grandkids, the old man is ready for one last quest. He'll die a true adventurer, his voice steady with absolute resolve. Shocked, he's 70. The hero asks what adventures are left, but the old man laughs. Dwarves outlive humans, and his confidence proves he's dead serious. No point worrying, Victor's got the strength to handle anything. He watches with calm respect. Known as the Dragon Slayer Bloodwind, this dwarf lived for battle before leading the guild. Noble-born but humble, he's earned everyone's respect. The hero hailed Victor as a legendary leader, seeing him as more of a hero than the real thing, with total respect. This ragtag crew of elite fighters and scientists is ready for the unknown, and the hype for their epic journey is electric. The hero smiled, tension vanishing as he looked at his reliable allies. Victor introduces 3 experts, a geologist, climatologist, and monster researcher, plus 15 elite adventurers. This 20-man squad is ready for action. Theodore introduced himself with a smile, noting how young they all looked. The adventurers recognized Theo, the jack-of-all-trades, and were hyped to sail with a legend. The wide-eyed kid hyped Theo for carrying the hero party, while his partner was dying to see his true power. Theodore's rattled by the sudden fame, but Victor admits it was all calculated, and Theodore should have seen it coming. The order to sail drops. Victor claps, pushing the squad to move before they lose daylight. Theo sighs, and finally gives the nod. On deck, the MC asks where the crew is. Victor admits resources are too tight for anyone else. Victor wants a bigger ship, but checking the supplies, Theodore realizes finding food is their first priority the moment they land. He asks how to save the food, and they've already got a solution ready to go. Victor reveals a magic bag from the National Vault, calling it essential for their journey. The magic bag is massive inside, holding 2 weeks of supplies where time stops, so food never spoils. The old man brags about scoring a rare artifact, but a stone-faced Theodore demands an explanation from Victor. He asks to peek inside the magic bag for loot, but his partner panics and screams for him to stop. The kid apologized for the guild's struggle after learning they had to rent a bag. The bearded man grunted, admitting they were officially broke. He checks his friend, gets a creepy IM fine, and the crew readies the ship. The wind is perfect, and spirits are high. The captain gives the order, set sail. The old man offered to pass the job off, but he refused. He loves the grind and says boredom here is a death sentence. He loved the rowing and the teamwork, smiling as they all worked for the common good. Ships away, the captain roars for the adventurers to push forward. The ship hits the open sea, leaving nothing but waves and circling gulls. Checking the map, the kid sees the wind is perfect. The bearded man nods. They'll reach the continent in no time. 2 girls aboard start praying, certain the gods have blessed their journey. Watching the crew pray, he knows faith makes death easier, but things are going south. It's way too early to thank the gods. The ship grinds to a halt. Theo knows this isn't good. Map in hand, the old man notices the wind died. The kid confirms it. The climatologist says the wind is dead, and he has no clue when it'll return. Worried, the hero asks if even scientists are clueless about the wind. The expert warns the sea is unpredictable. This could last days or weeks. One adventurer panics, yelling it could take weeks. Pointing at their dwindling supplies, a teammate warns they're running out and asks if there's a safe town nearby. The crew's on edge without wind. They need a plan fast before things get desperate. A bearded man and his comrade feared the worst if this continued. Then they all die. Confused, he asks why they're worried he can turn seawater into fresh water. He demands seawater, leaving everyone baffled. A crewman scoops seawater, explaining the salt is why it's undrinkable. The hero strips the salt from the water, making it drinkable and stunning his team. A comrade instantly downs the water to test it. One taste confirms it, the water is safe, and they won't die of thirst. The team cheers their savior, but he insists he's overrated. The crew cheers and laughs as one girl turns to face the team. A scream from the ship draws every eye, shocking the glasses girl. The crew panics as the water shifts. They know this creature is hostile. Panic erupts as the threat nears, and the captain orders Theo to follow. He stares ahead, stunned by a sight that defies all logic. A massive 10-meter beast is closing in, and things look grim. The captain warns Theo if things spiral, they need to prepare for the worst. Fearing a monster, a teammate demands they strike first. Hearing a scream, he spins toward his terrified comrades, caught completely off guard. The water beast charges, and the team braces for impact, ready to strike back. Strange sounds and heavy silence pierce the dark, fueling pure dread. A cute, friendly creature pops up, leaving Theo and the captain completely stunned. The beast splashes playfully by the ship, leaving the baffled heroes unsure how to handle their new guest. The crew's mesmerized by the cute beast, but the bearded man orders them to stay sharp. The old man beckons Kelly over as our hero turns toward the girl across the deck. He remembers Kelly's a monster researcher, a rumored child prodigy who aced the Royal Academy early. Kelly compares the beast to a river hippo, but it shouldn't be in salt water, and she's clueless why it's so massive. The researcher cheers a brand new species. It's magnificent. She has no answers. This species isn't recorded anywhere. She says they were usually harmless, but she isn't certain. She warns they re territorial killers, hitting 40 kilometers per hour on land and moving even faster in water. The researcher names the creature AC hippopotamus, catching her companion off guard. An old man saw the tension, and the MC knew they had to end this fast. Theodore asks Victor if they can approach the creature. The kid boldly declared he'd tamed the beast. He hit the railing, watching the sea hippopotamus swim calmly beside the ship. The elder desperately warned the hero to watch out. A teammate orders the group to stay still as the MC tames the beast. Victor's a natural leader, letting him lock in on the mission without distractions. He gears up, glad he's alone. No distractions, just pure focus. The beast watches from the waves, gliding peacefully right in front of the ship. He fires a light beam, instantly linking his magic to the beast. He calls its nickname and asks what it wants, but the creature just stares back. The group watched. Stunned, did the beast come by choice, and why get so close? He promises no harm, sensing zero hostility or hunger from the beast. It simply replies, "I see." He questions the creature's motives aloud, demanding to know why it's here. The beast pours its soul into its form, letting out a long, wordless wail. The friendly sea beast admits he only approached them because they're interesting. The boy stares at the beast as it chirps with joy. He laughs, calling the beast curious and inviting it for a swim. The creature happily agrees. The old man's shocked, but the hero just smiles. He invited the beast for a swim because they like it. The old warrior suggests using the beast to push the ship. Hippos are pure power. He agreed, visualizing the beast shoving the ship forward. The beast swam calmly. The hero thought the choice was still his. He approaches with a problem. The wind's dead and the ship is stuck. So he asks the beast for a push. Taming takes 3 steps. First, talk to the creature. Bond through equal exchange, then give the order. If the monster doesn't obey willingly, the taming fails. At taming stage 2, he watches from above to gauge its reaction. If it refuses, he'll just ask it to leave. The creature agrees to help, and the boy offers a reward in thanks. He offered food and magic stones, but the creature rejected them all. He offered everything, but the creature kept refusing, leaving him stunned. Frustrated by his failure, he knows help isn't free and starts doubting the creature's condition. The creature finally speaks, demanding the boy's mana as the price. Shocked, he asks if the beast really wants to be his pet. It confirms. He realized his mana was a monster magnet, and it wasn't the first time. This happened before monsters once begged to be his pets. Now they're scattered across the globe. The creature splashes joyfully, demanding mana, and the boy agrees to deliver right away. He brainstormed names for the C-rank hippo. Every pet needs one. He triggers the magic circle to start the taming ritual. The team stood frozen, staring in total amazement. He shouts his name, Theodore Durkheim. He shares mana, names the beast Begliaf, and becomes its master. The beast accepts Theodore as master, naming itself Begeliaf. The contract seals, and the magic circle's light swallows the sea hippo. An older friend asks for the result, and Theodore confirms the taming was a success. Suddenly sick, he staggers and leans on his companion. The captain asks what happened, but Theodore just says he's sick. He's always been confident, but now something feels seriously wrong. Even his dragon contract didn't feel this strange. He pondered the sea beast he'd just bonded with, questioning its true nature. The creature's wide grin leaves the hero baffled and second-guessing. Hero asks Bagaliev if he received the transferred mana. The beast loved the mano's taste, leaving the hero surprised and smirking. Glad the beast liked it, the man notes its speech is sharpening and tells Bagaliev to keep his promise and move. Panic erupts as the crowd screams, but the beast already dove into the water, ready to strike. Panic erupts as the ship rockets forward, sending passengers clinging to the rails for dear life. The massive sea beast Begaleov is pushing the vessel at breakneck speeds, and he's stunned by the beast's speed and power. Its size was a lie. It's fast, strong, and far more mysterious than he ever imagined. Victor cheers the mission's a total success. Despite the crashing waves and shaky boat, Theodore grins back, both men beaming with pride and relief. The crew cheers for a smooth start, but Theo freezes as the ship suddenly drags. Suspecting Begaliev, he shouts to ask if he's already tired. The hippo wasn't tired, it was just angry. The creature strained to push the boat, fuming that Theo wasn't watching. It craved praise and lived for his validation. He's totally baffled. Watching the water creature, he realized it acted just like a kid. It was surprisingly childish and totally adorable. Theo promises to watch, instantly hyping Begalia up. The hippo snorts and works with double the energy, too excited to hear Theo's warning to stay calm. Begaliev was strange but vital. The crew agreed he was a massive asset and essential to their journey. Theo drops a windbreak, grinning as they push forward in comfort. Begaliev watched, completely intrigued. Humming, he eyes his catch. The ship glides silently as the duo watches the horizon. A week later, a crewman spots land they're closing in. The boy spots a new light, leaving everyone stunned. Theodore thanks the hippo for their safe arrival. Bagilif smirked, satisfied. As they board the lifeboats, the boy notices that after all that hell, everyone is finally smiling. Theodore proudly declared, "The exploration begins now." The new guy asks to join, so Theo claims Bagiliaf as his pet and brings him along. The kid shouted in awe, stunned by the new land. The second traveler finally understands this continent, but massive mysteries still wait ahead. Stunned by the new continent, the group finds bizarre life everywhere. As things get more exciting by the second, Victor ordered the group to stay calm and touch nothing. The team froze, waiting for his next move. He orders a plan: secure the area first, then ferry the cargo from the ship. The bearded man gets their fear as the first to land. Seeing their worry, he turns to the kid for a nod. Theo's hauling boxes when Beglioff suddenly appears. Warnings scream out as a shocked Theo spins around to face him. Theo's companion warns a reckless Beglioff not to fall, while Theo realizes the loyal sea beast hasn't left his side since becoming his pet. He smirks, admitting he can say no to something this cute. The hip eponymous gave Theodore a look so sweet he definitely took note. Victor felt a primal need to protect the creature, even though it was stronger than everyone combined. Theo called its love a miracle, and while the old man blamed duckling syndrome, he admitted he wanted to be stopped. Clenching his fist, he declares his mission must be finished now. Theo decides to build a camp the explorers need to study and farm the land. But first, they need a safe base. His partner warns no camp by dark means, sleeping outside. Theo used to live like this, but now he hates it. Recalling the campaign days sleeping on the grass, the hero shouts to pick up the pace, and his companion urges him to get moving. Theodore spots a landing site on the hills. They're in luck. The continent is in plain sight. Theodore's about to suggest a new route when Behemoth calls him. Giliaf asks if they're building houses, timidly wondering if he'll get his own. Theodore is stunned. Theo says yes to the hippo. He's nervous about his skills and needs tons of materials, but he's hyped to get that house built. Begaleaf gazed at Theodore affectionately. The old man admits he's using them. The creature grins, calling the boy's name, but he doesn't care. It's an ally now. Smiling, the senior tells the kid to quit worrying and get to work. Everyone's counting on his power while the squad clears the trees. The boy grinned, understanding perfectly. He appraised the wood and confirmed it was perfect for any job. The old man saw their elite skills, but their insane work ethic blew him away. Victor warns housing 20 is brutal. Watch out, the warrior yells as a tree crashes down. 4 per house means 5 homes, plus 1 for the creature. The elder sighs. The work is just beginning. Looking down, the boy apologized for his team's behavior. He felt its gaze and turned as the hippo worriedly asked what happened. Smiling, he assured his friend everything was fine, secretly thinking he was a total cutie, but warned they'd have to rough it until they gathered enough materials. The worried sea creature offered help, telling the boy to stay calm. The beast lunges forward, catching everyone off guard. A teammate asks what it's doing, but the boy sheepishly admits he has no clue. The warriors laugh, asking how the armless creature expects to help them. Goliath sprouts sharp horns, sending the crowd into a panic. He stares in shock as the sea hippo acts up by the tree, seeing this for the very first time. He spots the hippo's mana horns just as it rams a tree, bringing it crashing down. He watches the tree fly. Stunned by the hippo's massive mana horn power, a teammate orders everyone back to avoid the falling tree. And soon, a pile of wood and stone is neatly stacked. The bearded man is stunned. All the materials are ready in under a day, and he can believe an eager hippo pulled it off. Miguelioff grins with a tree in his teeth, but a teammate warns he's still dangerous. The hero listens closely. Monster researcher Kelly confirms the creature is a dragon, warning it's no ordinary animal, but a lethal, high-tier predator. The duo is flawed. That cute, harmless creature is actually a dragon. Kelly names Miguelioff, and the room freezes. A man tries to calm the tension. Knowing this news flips their entire understanding of the beast. The researcher reveals her findings on the beast, and the MC is hooked. Taming the beast felt strange, but the researcher is certain it's definitely an earth dragon. Stunned, the beast had more mana than a high-rank monster. She demanded he repeat it in total disbelief. They debated revealing the dragon. The MC feared a panic, but the old man shut it down. Hyped up, the researcher begs to study the beast, admitting it's way more interesting than she expected. The researcher says this continental beast is a mystery, no clear gender or diet, but it's likely an omnivorous juvenile with massive room to grow. He asks if she's lost it, but the old man shrugs. Scientists are just weird, so ignore her. She questioned the beast's origins and its former life, sensing a massive story hidden behind its appearance. He asks the curious creature how to tell if someone's an adult, but the little guy just stares back, totally lost. Tail shape reveals age. Adults have long, straight tails, while kids are short and round. Piotr strokes the dragon. That's how it is. He realized the creature was only acting out because it was just a kid. Thea worries the dragon will crush him once it grows up, but he quickly shakes it off. Intrigued, she demanded every detail on the beast, then dropped a cryptic, "You know what?" She corners him, demanding any new info go to her first. Stunned, he struggles to find an answer. He scouted the area and found fertile land, the perfect spot for their camp. The group agreed. Beardman says the site is flood-proof and has plenty of room for houses. The creature did the work of 10 men, gathering every material needed. With the land secured, construction starts now. He brushed off their worried questions, insisting he was fine. He needed the full picture before making his move. He declares imagination is key. An observer is confused, so he explains you must visualize the end result. Complexity needs every detail to work, and he's got no time to waste. Theo acts fast, focusing his mana to instantly shape the wood into bars. He's already mastered turning sand to glass and plans to tackle metal next, but a promising interruption cuts him short. Theodore finally finished his massive mansion. He stunned the crowd with insane speed and quality, leaving everyone speechless. Both guys are stunned. Everything's ready in under 10 minutes, and they're totally baffled. Inside, the guys stunned private rooms and high-end glass. This place is a straight-up aristocrat's palace. The group thanks him, admitting they'd be lost alone. One friend is hyped for the new continent, while the boy vows to finish every building by tonight. They're stunned, but the elder begs him to rest. He refuses, pushing on to finish the final 3 houses. The camp is finally finished. Houses stand in neat rows, and it's officially complete. He snaps at them for ignoring his warning, then questions Theo about a strange door, but a dragon's roar cuts him off. The dragon roared for Theodore, dropping off his fresh kill and shocking everyone. Beguilef asks Theodore if he liked it. He shouted in shock, stunned that everything finally clicked. The dragon vowed to keep helping, proving his loyalty to the cause. He hit the mark perfectly. Begelia stared wide-eyed in awe while he built the door so the creature could open it alone, keeping the room warm even at night. The beast smashes inside, blasting the kid back. He hits the floor, head spinning. Clinging to the boy, the creature thanks him by name, saying it likes him and appreciates his care. Smiling, he says, "No thanks are needed for calling the creature by name." Night falls, and the crowd gathers by the fire, raising a toast to the day's end. Bearded man thanks Theo, who's happy to help and loves the drink. He's just glad they settled things fast, with no consequences. The group decides to rest today and recharge for tomorrow. Everyone's on board. He loves the boar, and she says the meat literally melts in her mouth. A soldier saw the creature wanted a bite and offered it the meat. The scientists bond over stories at camp. Glasses girl spots volcanic rock, and a young scientist is hyped to explore the nearby volcano. She's heading into the forest to find rare wildlife and hopefully encounter some monsters. He noticed the camper's strange aura, laughed, and kept munching his skewer. Intrigued, the guy asks what she's eating, admitting he's hooked. Mouth full, she calmly says she's eating stomach, holding a piece on a stick. Shocked, the boy asks if she really ate the stomach. She laughs. It was delicious. Resting by the fire, she realizes the others just don't get the flavor yet. Don T like it. Don T watch tasting monsters is just routine research for her, and they always check for poison first. She asks O to try it for research, but the creature beside him shouts that he wants a turn. Noise echoed through the peaks, but the mountain homes stayed dead silent. The boy and dragon agree. It was fun. He heads to another house to apologize, and the girl says goodnight to Bigiliev. See you tomorrow, the boy says, but a confused Bigiliev just nudges him and repeats its name. Bigiliev offered to sleep with Theodore, catching him completely off guard. Theodore remembered the researcher S warning Bigiliev is still just a child. Never forget it. He flashes back to his childhood, crying out for his mom and dad. Theodore pictured Geely staring at the night sky over the water, looking just as alone. He strokes the dragon, asks Pajaliev if he did well, and says he's sleeping with him. Bigiliev tosses Theodore onto his back as both boy and dragon roar with joy. Theodore tells Bigiliev to wait, but he's already out cold, catching him off guard. Theodore watched as Bigiliev snored cutely in his sleep. Theodore stroked the sleeping bagel, seeing the poor guy was exhausted. Theodore closed his eyes and lay down, admitting he was exhausted too. Theodore and Bigiliev sleep soundly after a long day. He knows tomorrow brings a fresh start and a mountain of work. Misty mountains loom over a sleeping village as a grasshopper's faint chirp breaks the dawn silence. A growl shatters the silence as a paw slams down, sending a grasshopper leaping for its life. A girl with ears and a tail emerges from the gloom beside a massive, glowing-eyed wolf. She growls a warning, her wild gaze proving she's ready for a fight. Theodore snaps awake, eyes wide. A distant growl shatters the morning peace. Half awake, Theodore leans on the sleeping Bigiliev, staring out the window and wondering what mysterious noise woke them up. Two growling silhouettes loom between the houses, shattering the morning silence with a deadly threat. The girl and her wolf growl by the firewood, the beast ignoring everything to feast on yesterday's scraps. Theodore peers out the window, suspecting wild animals, and stunned, they dare approach their camp. Theodore panics, picturing wild beasts tearing into the group, still partying by the fire. Recalling the wild party, Theodore realizes the animals were lured in by the messy food scraps no one bothered to clean up. Theodore acts fast to stop predators from claiming the camp. He has to leave Bigiliev behind. But first, he crafts a makeshift blanket for his loyal friend. He silently blankets the sleeping Bigiliev, moving with ghost-like precision to avoid waking the light sleeper. Theo exhales. He needs to slip away without waking his companion. He creeps out, dead silent. Theodore peeks around the corner, scouting the area before making his move. A massive dog-like beast tears through food scraps, but Theodore doubts it's just a stray. Something about its behavior feels dangerously off. Theodore spots mana glowing in the dog's fur, This isn't a pet, it's a monster. Theodore's cornered by a wolf pack, led by a massive, glowing alpha. He knows instantly these are mag wolves, lethal monsters, famous for their ferocity. Mag wolves outclass normal wolves in power and brains. They're deadliest in packs, launching coordinated strikes. Mag wolves hit 3 meters, and Theodore spots another one stalking the girl. These beasts usually hunt children, so he has to find out what's going on right now. He stepped up, asking to talk. He apologizes for the intrusion, swearing he's no threat. But the wolf and girl are stunned by his appearance. They growl and bolt. He figured they wouldn't ditch him so easily. He ordered them to freeze, regretting he'd used taming. One wolf snaps back while the wolf girl bolts. Theodore gasps as the swift escapes. The wolf girl growls from hiding while Theodore reels his foolproof spell failed. The other wolf is baffled. She fled, but Theodore suspects she's a special species. Fine, let's settle for this, he says as the wolf whimpers. He drops to one knee and calls the wolf over. He uses taming to prove he's no threat, and the wolf asks why they're here. Theodore finally got it. The wolf tracked the scent out of pure hunger. The wolf's visible bones made him dread the girl's condition, filling him with pure pity for the pair. Theodore mourns the tragedy as the wolf confirms his worst fears. Are they the only survivors left? The wolf whimpered that a bear slaughtered everyone. The news stuns him. They ran until they dropped, but the bear caught them. It slaughtered his entire family, leaving him the sole survivor. Theodore asks again, in horror, is that really a bear? Theodore realized no normal bear could solo a magwolf pack. This was a demonic beast, a massive monster with glowing eyes and razor claws. The bloodthirsty demon bear is a beast that shreds through entire magwolf packs with ease. The wolf says, one remains. Theodore asks if he means the girl who fled, and the wolf confirms it. The wolf confirmed she's one of them, young, weak, and a terrible hunter. Fearing for her fate, he's desperate to protect her. The wolf apologizes, thanks her for the treat, and vows protection. Theodore watches closely, sensing the beast's absolute resolve. Theodore confirmed, looking thoughtful, smiling. The boy invites the wolf to join, catching the beast completely off guard. Stunned, the wolf gaped at the offer, join forces with humans. To him, it was unthinkable. Theodore refused to abandon the children. Staring down the wolf, he stood firm, driven by duty and pure resolve. He remembered his friendly comrades, standing united in support. Theodore offered the wolf food and shelter, respecting its loyalty to her. It was a sincere, generous deal. He offered a deal, food and shelter for their help, a fair trade. Now, he waited for the wolf's answer. Theodore asks if the deal is on. The wolf stares back, weighing the offer in a tense silence. Theodore cheers as the wolf agrees. The beast sits, decision final, a massive turning point for both. Theodore names the white wolf Shiro. The wolf thinks it's a weird name, but he accepts it anyway. The wolf liked the name and lay at Theodore's feet. Theodore nodded. Their partnership had officially begun. The wolf lay still, gaze peaceful. If it's true, he agrees. Theodore Durkheim introduces himself, ready to begin. He reaches for the wolf as the magic symbol flares to life. He shares his mana to name the wolf Shiro, but her deafening roar suddenly breaks the ritual. The girl strikes the armored man mid-cast. Gasping for air, he demands to know what is happening. Falling to his knees, he questioned her strike and her true motive. He kept questioning her motives. They back away from the man. The girl shields the wolf and growls. She roars, ripping a wolf away. She looks lethal. He shouts for her to stop, demanding answers while eyeing her white ears and wolf tail. He's never seen a creature like this, but the girl keeps growling. He used teaming, telling her to stay calm and promising not to hurt her. She charges again. Taming failed, she's more than just a beast. Assuming she's a half-human or foreigner, he asks if she's met her own kind, but she stays furious. The girl gasps, eyes darting from the white wolf to the man. The girl hugs the wolf, whispering anxiously. The man asks Shiro if he's trying to convince her. She eyed him skeptically, still growing in silence. He tries to calm her, promising safety, but her blind rage makes it pointless. He asks Shiro if she's actually family. She reveals the girl's adopted. Shiro remembers being found as a baby and joining their pack. Surprised, he realized they'd never see eye to eye. The man approaches the wary girl, immediately praising her sharp instincts. He gave her a final warning, show your face again, and you want to leave in one piece. He promised a special surprise, putting her on high alert for whatever came next. He pulls a fresh wild boar steak from his magic bag, proudly showing off the steaming, delicious meat that's still warm and mouth-watering. The treat hooked her, instantly wiping away her exhaustion. Smiling warmly, the man hands her the steak, promising the taste is so addictive she'll be hooked for life. He sets the steak before the wolf girl, gently urging her to eat to finally break her fear and win her trust. The wolf girl eyes the treat for a trap, but her growling stomach betrays her hunger. The wolf lunges, snatching the steak in its teeth. The man gaped as the wolf streaked past like lightning. The white wolf drops the meat, watching the girl. She beams at the feast, her mind finally made up. The wolf girl devours her meal as the man promises there's plenty more, wondering if Shiro is just baiting her hunger. Growls and cries filled the air as he begged her to watch his hands during her feeding frenzy, ending only when the plates were licked clean and he could finally breathe. He smiled, satisfied they were stuffed, and his treat did the trick. Stunned by her massive appetite, the man offers seconds, but she's finally stuffed and turns him down. Her answer shocks him. He asks if she understood every word, and her calm yes leaves him floored. The man is stunned by her freakish ability to speak both wolf and human, while the girl sits opposite him, confused by his violent reaction. He reveals a goddess statue, calling language a divine gift. It's the core of human culture and self-awareness, a hardwired, unchangeable trait we're born with. Stunned by her power, he wondered what other secrets this land held. He thanked the goddess, realizing it was the first time he actually meant it. She admits she tried to hurt him because he messed with her wolf, explaining that's why she attacked. He gasps as it finally clicks. She's attacking because he tried to cast a spell on the white wolf. He calmed the girl, swearing he wasn't a threat, he just wanted to strike a deal with the wolf. Squatting down, he explains his taming skill lets him talk to animals. He wants her wolf, but with a grin, he asks the girl to join his crew too. The wolf girl's eyes lit up at the offer, shouting that she was all in. Seeing her hype, the man knew daily gourmet meals were the ultimate hook. Tired of wandering, the girl dreams of safety and a feast. The white wolf barks in agreement, and the man curiously asks for the beast's opinion. The white wolf barks again. Grabbing the man's attention, he asks what's wrong, as the girl watches him with hopeful eyes. The white wolf barks his approval, and the girl agrees. The man hesitates, but starts talking as the girl and her two wolves follow him. The wolf girl hugs her white companion, grinning as the deal is sealed. The wolf agrees, and the man welcomes them to the expedition. He grins at his new friends, the girl and her dog. The girl asks to finish taming, but the hero realizes he'd totally forgotten. Curious about the ritual, the girl asks about names. The hero explains, name the beast, set the terms, and cast the spell. The girl loves the hero's suggestion, shouting the name Shiro and telling the dog it's official. She hugs the dog to seal the bond, and suddenly a blinding light bursts from her, heroes stunned by the sight. But the girl turns back, totally clueless about his shock. The hero's mana vanished for a split second. What was that? He focuses, activating his assessment skill to read the situation. His skill reveals a magic bond between the girl and her pet, leaving him stunned. She notices his reaction and asks if he's okay, but he quickly insists he's fine. He smiles, saying everything's fine. He saw she'd actually tamed Shiro. He struggles to explain, but basically, taming means sharing mana with an animal to forge a bond. This brought her even closer to Shiro, and he asks if it's finally clear. Watching the girl and Sharu celebrate, he realized he'd made a grave mistake. He's stunned. She used taming without a spell. He wouldn't believe it if he hadn't seen it himself. He asks for her name and offers to give her one. Shocked, she wonders if she even has a name. She hesitates, then says her name could be Theo. He smiles, saying the name suits her, just like a Tema from a fairy tale. Beaming, the girl shouts her name, Theo. This continent never stops surprising him. Every day brings wild encounters, proving how insane and diverse this world really is. He never believed such different creatures could bond. Seeing the girl and the beast, their connection felt like a miracle, straight out of a fairy tale. As night falls, he leads the group to a safe spot to recover, his steady voice radiating pure confidence. She hesitates to follow, but he reaches out with a warm smile, telling her to just trust him. He looks confident, but he's still on edge. One crucial detail keeps gnawing at him, and he just can't shake it. Recalling the bear attack, he stays alert if it hits the camp. He'll have to step in and protect everyone. Fist clenched, he vowed to protect his peaceful life and crush any obstacle in his way. Theo snaps awake to a persistent voice, opening his eyes in a daze to ask what happened. The boy stared from the floor in shock as Bajiliev stuck out his tongue and called for his master. Hyped and terrified, Begaleev warns there's a stranger in the room. Theo stumbles up, clutching his head, and demands to know who's there. Snapping to, the boy asks Begaliev if he means the mysterious kid and wolf. The dragon stares at the girl and his master in total shock. Theo declares they're comrades, patting the mourning wolf and telling it to get moving, while Begalev warns him to stay cautious. Theo confidently claims everything's on track. He invited them yesterday. Suddenly, his friend wakes up and opens her bright eyes. Bagil locks eyes with the girl, and they both freeze. Sensing danger, the wolf and fire snap at Pajiliev. He turns away, clutching his head. The girls need more time to adapt. Theo circled them up and declared, "Everyone, comrades, are hyped." Bagiliev begged him to repeat it. He grinned, confirming they were officially comrades. He introduces Fionn and Shiro, the girl and her wolf, as the boys stare in hyped-up curiosity. Theo introduces the girl and wolf to Begalifa, promising the giant is kind and reliable. He hopes they'll get along. Begoyov looks away, admitting he summoned them tonight, then asks, surprised, if Theo's actually mad he left him. Loving her new crew, a shocked Theo hesitantly asks Begaleev for his name again. She stalks Bailey like a wolf, eyes shut, and gently nuzzles him. Theo notes the wolf's greeting as Bagaliev welcomes them, while the girl stares down the massive beast. He peers out the window, sensing their fear, but hoping they'll bond soon. Strange sounds erupt from Bigalith. Theo whips around to find Shiro, curiously sniffing it from every side. He explains the wolf greets everyone this way, and Begelia moans with closed eyes, showing he's totally calm. Outside, Victor meets the guys with local breakfast and rushes them to eat. The guys join the expedition for a meal, smiling as they sit. "Looks good," one notes, and everyone digs in after a quick thanks. Theo confirms the food is safe. The girl loves the local flavors, but the guy wishes they had proper utensils. Mid-breakfast, Victor asks Theo who the girl next to him is. He welcomes her to their strange quest, while the girl and wolf feast right off his lap. Victor asks what Theo knows, but Theo denies it, laughing that Victor must have had a wild night. Victor asks for details, questioning if Theo is human. Theo confirms it instantly. Bewildered but smiling, he sees her ears and tail, but since she can speak via the goddess of language's blessing, she's human, and he's thrilled. Theo reveals she's also a tamer, and her best friend is a loyal wolf named Shiro. He's stunned she can tame without spells, admitting her talent far surpasses his own. The host hesitates, doubting his own plan, but Victor confidently reassures him as the entire team backs him up. He fought with the heroes. Proving his instincts are superior, they trust him completely, and a bashful Theo rubs his head, thanking them for the support. He turns to Theo and Shiro, ready to give them a proper introduction. His gaze locks on Killy. She's intensely taking notes on the guys, looking worried. The girl beside him watches her, visibly uneasy. Kelly introduces herself and offers help, but her terrifying gaze leaves Theo and Shiro shaking in fear. Terrified, the friend bursts into tears, crying that she's scared. The wolf steps in to protect her with fierce loyalty, leaving a baffled Kelly totally clueless. Theo steps in to de-escalate, but Kelly snaps she's just making friends, while the girl admits she's terrified. Kelly snaps, telling Theo to forget calming down and look at Shiro. She's never seen wolves like this before. Stunned, he asks her if this is really just an ordinary magwolf. Kelly confirms, but adds a catch. She steps to the wolf, scratching its ears and scouting its fur. Stunned by Shiro's pure white fur, she figures he's a white magwolf. Kelly notes Shiro's massive size, calling him a local magwolf variant. This is getting interesting. Stunned, he asks if a demonic bear really wiped out their pack. The survivor confirms it. It's a total nightmare. Kelly asks again if the demon bear wiped out the pack. The guy confirms it. She realizes if one bear wiped out the pack, he's a monster, and their lives are in danger. Victor arrives just in time. Terrified, the girl asks how long he's been lurking. He puts the talk on hold. Building the camp is the priority, and he's right. Watching Theo and the crew, Victor says the storm doesn't faze them. Bad weather just means more sleep and more confidence. They need food, water, and most importantly, protection. These three goals are now their top priority. The men gather and decide hit the fields first, then build the well. Victor shuts his eyes, dead serious. He claims protection is their most vital need, sensible but alarming. He fears a bear attack would be game over, but suddenly a somber Theo raises his hand to speak. He stops Victor, awkwardly claiming one final point outweighs the rest, instantly hooking the crowd. Stunned, the man snaps that nothing's more important than the camp and demands an explanation. He boldly declares it's a bath, leaving everyone stunned. Kellyan and Victor stare in disbelief as the man asks if it's really a bathtub. Theo casually confirms it, leaving Theo and Shiro speechless. He teases the filthy boys, joking that Shiro's white fur is buried under the grime. He pets the wolf anyway, leaving the breakfast crew both laughing and touched. Theo warns they must kill the parasites before they bloat, but the river's too freezing to wash them off, making the situation critical. He refuses to help until they re-clean. Victor agrees, realizing Theo's actually a softie at heart. Theo asks what's next, build the bath or sit idle. He wants to scout for materials, leaving a shocked Victor to ask how many men he's taking. Theo takes the girl since she knows the land best, leaving her stunned by his choice. Theo tells Victor not to worry, and locks eyes with Bagaliev. He calls Bagaliev a dragon, swearing no demon bear will touch him. Bagaliev grins at his master's words. Theo says Victor can handle the rest solo. Victor just glares. Theo stands silent, eyes downcast in clear worry. Victor lets the boy handle the bathroom task, ordering him to survive, while Theo offers to supply any materials. A guy finishes gathering loot for his magic bag when a worried girl suddenly approaches. Theo asks what happened, and she clutches herself in terror, warning him of a deadly bear in the woods. She fears Theo's dying, shaking. The boy stares at her, wondering what happened. He remembers the magic bear that slaughtered Theo's pack. Bagaleaf approaches Theo, recalling his promise that they're now comrades. He sidesteps the guy and heads for the girl. Bagaliev grins wide, vowing to protect them and asking for her trust. Theo watches in joyful shock. Trusting him, he returns a timid smile. She hugs Bagaliev with total trust, and he smiles back warmly. Theo zips the bag and tells the boys to leave, but the girl begs him to stop. Shiro and the girl have no clue what a bath is, making the boy realize their forest upbringing left them totally clueless. He fumbles an explanation about the bathtub, but the other guy's still clueless. Theo says the container is warm and relaxing. He and Shira listen intently. Their eyes lit up, imagining paradise. Could they really just relax and sleep there? The girls hype to start, and the wolf drags Theo by his belt as he begs them to wait. They'll help him build it, but first, they need massive stones. The crew is stunned. Theo's ready to leave, but they need supplies first. Suddenly, Kelly joins the crew. Begelia knows they've made enemies fast, but they still need essentials. Next goal: build a bath. The dream is finally within reach. Baths need water, so they're digging a well, a massive drain on their resources. Beguilier realizes the well needs a massive amount of stone. He reminds the group they need those stones and dives straight in. Theo shouts for him to come back, but Kelly's too busy writing to even look up. His partner warns they aren't here for fun, but Begaliev just splashes around, completely oblivious. Shiro and Theo freeze in terror, but Theo is baffled, unable to grasp what's actually scaring them. Theo points at Begaliev, asking if he's okay. Theo asks if they're scared of water, and Theo hugs her wolf, admitting their fear is natural. Theo describes the rain soaking them. They were freezing, starving, alone, and genuinely terrified. Shiro adds they were attacked, his voice heavy with regret. Theo calms the boys, explaining Begaliev is a water creature and will be fine. But the girl still asks if it's true. Theo smiles and waves her over, wrapping her in a large towel to make her feel safe. He offers her a towel he made to help her stay dry. He promises they reach safe from the water now. Theo trusts him, her confidence surging as she finally gets it. Watching the girl on the shore, Theo wonders if he can finally kill the fears stopping him from enjoying the moment. Kelly calls, and her joy tells him she's found something. Intrigued, he listens as she gushes over Bagiliaf's swimming. Kelly scans the area. No good stones here. The guy nods, baffled but agreeing. Theo scours the riverbed for massive rocks, but only finds a tiny piece of rubble. Major letdown. He figures the river leads to more loot. Theo says it's time to move, but Begaliath wants to stay and keep chilling. The boys charge down the forest path while Theo rides Begaliath, their high spirits making her beam with joy. Kelly smiles at the kids bonding, asking if it's their wolf nature. He explains that as pack animals with a leader, they always stay close. Kelly asks if he's bossy because he wants to lead. Stunned, he asks what she is hinting at. A bear slaughtered Theo's pack 2 weeks ago, surviving together since then, weighs heavy on his soul. He realizes he just wants to make her happy, and give her the confidence she dreams of. He knows he's no leader, he's just a laborer, meant to support and protect his people. 3 heroes flash in his mind, and he knows he's nowhere near their level. Theo clenches his fist, vowing not to fail his friends, until a voice from behind suddenly snaps him back to reality. Begelia confidently tells him to handle his business right there, leaving Theo absolutely stunned by the reveal. Theo smiles kindly, telling him to go for it, since they are alone. They'll be watching closely. Panicked, he asks why they're making him do it out in the wilderness. Kelly looks up from her notes, asking if he's still clueless. She explains the squad follows him as their leader since they're the new outsiders. He just curses, refusing to mark his territory. Theo collapses screaming. Exhausted by the brutal hike, Kelly snaps at his drama, but Theo fires back, blaming her for their struggle. Theo eyes the waterfall, relieved they finally found the right rocks. Few asks if they need big rocks, and the boy gladly accepts the help. She points to a stone her size. He says it fits, but they can't carry it. He explains their magic bag has a catch. It only stores items small enough to fit in their mouths. Talk about ridiculous. The boys trade confused looks until he gestures with his palm, showing the exact stone size they need. She understands, but he says it's not that easy. Kelly brings a stone, telling him to try it. It might just fit. Theo laughs, letting the kids think work is just a game, while Kelly calls him way too soft. He fumbles for words until a sudden noise behind them makes everyone snap around. Begelef jokes if the stone suits them, but the guy's baffled, asking what it even is. Begelef tells him to smile, but the boy suddenly spots a massive boulder dead ahead. He apologizes to Begilyaf, thinking he's too massive to move, but something ahead stops him cold. Begilyaf balances a massive boulder on his horns, leaving Theo slack-jawed in shock. Back at camp, a grim Victor questions why no one's scouting the area yet, demanding they take action immediately. Mid-sentence, everyone stops and stares at a strange sight up ahead. Something's approaching. A massive shadow looms over them as they freeze in silent terror. A massive rock behind the trees charges straight at them. Terrified, the boys question if these stones are real. Theo steps out, apologizing for the scare, but his appearance leaves everyone frozen in shock. Victor's stunned. Examining the rock, he wonders how they finished a drink that massive. Theo proudly credits Begliaf for the feat, earning impressed looks. Kelly marvels at the beast's strength, guessing his horns are packed with mana. Kelly admits Begliaf dragged him the whole way, claiming his power crushes ordinary earth dragons. She wants him as an ally, not an enemy, and he agrees. As the girls praise Begliaf's strength, a hyped-up Theo rushes in. The girl eagerly asks what they'll build next. He smiles, crediting their hard work, as Theo pats her head. Victor tells the guy to get to work. They need massive amounts of water, catching him completely off guard. Victor's words send Theo into a panic over the massive water. Terrified, she bolts on her wolf, but he instantly grabs them and tells them to relax. Hugging her wolf, the girl admits she's terrified of water. It's a touching moment, but Theo calms them down. He's got a plan. He steps closer, promising she'll learn everything from them, starting with the fork and knife she's already thrilled to master. He says, "Knowledge kills fear of the unknown." Stunned, she asks if he's serious. Theo smiles and walks off, telling her to watch him and stay brave. Building a well requires a massive hole, tons of stones, and digging until they hit life-saving water. Theo slams his palm down, magic caving in the earth and shocking everyone. He vows to magically compress the earth and chop the stones to bits, leaving the girl watching in pure awe. As the land vanishes, Theo realizes he'll be laying stones and burning through their final metal scraps. Awestruck, She tracks her friend's every move. Victor, Theo, and Theo eye the well as the girl excitedly asks if it's real. She sprints to the well and nearly falls in, but Theo catches her just in time. He sternly warns her never to do that again, then tells Victor to keep the well hatch locked. Victor agrees, fearing her next move. Kelly asks if he has any limits, but he just shrugs. He's just a regular guy doing his job. He makes her try the lever first. Determined, Theo slams the screen. Victor's skeptical, but the guy built it for the kid to use. The well's almost ready, and everyone's hyped. Water gushes from the tap, and Theo grins, her fear finally gone. Shiro joins her, both staring at the water in amazement. She says the water doesn't scare her, and he laughs, telling her she has nothing to fear. Inspired, the man prepares a bath, and she wags her tail, hyped to finally get clean. Seeing her joy, he smiles and pats her head, boosting her confidence. Suddenly he collapses, weakly asking for food since he's starving. The girl panics, and the whole group watches in alarm. Suddenly, Theo and Shiro freeze in horror. Kelly looms over them, reaching out and promising it one to hurt. Earlier, the boys feast. Theo notes this continent's food is way tastier and more aromatic. He's just as surprised. After an hour of skill grinding left him exhausted, he woke up to a Bagaliath. Tearfully, he asks if Theo's okay while a massive swarm of fish surrounds him. He claims he's still sick, but Kelly, mid-read, tells him to quit faking. She was worried too, but he's too strong to slack off. He laughs, admitting she caught him. He suggests a food break, but she looks at a starving Theo and says it's too early. Kelly refuses to let the creatures eat until she finishes her markings, claiming it S for research, but Theo tells her to back off. She's scaring them. He tells them to eat slowly since food is plentiful, but suddenly he spots something. He asks why she eats with her hands. She looks back, stunned. She admits the gear's tough, but she's giving it her all. He's touched. What a great kid, always studying so hard. He rewards her hard work, vowing to build his promise today, and she's thrilled. He visions a luxury bath and vows to build it today. He sighs, looking down. Kelly asks if construction is the problem. He denies it, but admits she's right anyway. Few says the bathhouse is just a building. The real issue is getting water inside. He wants instant hot water, but realizes a tank and heater would take up way too much space. Kelly suggests swapping everything for a magic device. Stunned, the guy demands an explanation. Theo spots the tech and tries to ask, but Victor doesn't even notice him. Victor's already scouting farmland, leaving a stressed Theo buried under a mountain of work. He pitches a bold plan. They track it down together. He brags his hero party status, makes finding him easy, while a sweating Theo forces a nervous thank you. He cautiously claims ignorance, then suddenly spots a happy group. They and Shiro the wolf approach Theo, eyes shining, with a secret plan. She mounts her wolf as he snorts, leaving Victor's search to them. The guy's stunned, calling them a cute, perfect team. The man laughs, calling Theo riding Shiro, a parody of him on Big Goliath. The girl asks for a rope. He agrees instantly, then freezes. Why do they even need it? Mid-sentence, the wolf girl and the guy bolt off in the same direction. Theo's stunned. He's got to teach her that normal people are weak, praying everything turns out okay. Prep complete, he sighs in relief. Everything's finally ready. The hardest part remains. He sees the bathhouse as a well and just needs to visualize it. Theo polled the residents, but their wild, clashing demands were impossible to fulfill. He realizes their materials are limited and hunts for a common link. He soon realized it was a massive public bath. Picturing his fans' cheers, Theo declares the bath is finished. Now he just needs to imagine the rest. He builds the bath and drainage, wipes his sweat, and cheers. He's finally almost finished. He turns, expecting Theo and the others back, but spots the girl beckoning him. The Takakadia guy claims they found Victor. The girl beams, confirming it as the man reels at their massive power gap. He claims Victor had a magic device. Theo perks up, hyped, asking if it's true. Shaken, the guy admits Victor forgot to tell him. So Theo ends the bath. They found the device, but have no clue how it works. It looks pricey, but he doesn't get the hype until Theo reveals it can transform into a whole mansion. His eyes sparkle instantly. They need heat, and this machine is already cranking. It's full of surprises, just like a real magical artifact. Theo explains, hook up a cold pipe for instant boiling water. Stunned, the guy asks if he's holding a literal mansion, but Theo just smiles and tells him to hand it over. Gripping the magic mechanism, he grins, it's time to get to work. He triggers the mechanism, and it hovers above his palms, glowing as it springs to life. He says the pipes split and wired to a logic device. Hot and cold water are set. Now, he just hides the pipes for a clean look. O. Copernatly reveals the bathhouse and declares it open. He calls Theo a jack of all trades. Theo humbly claims he's nothing without materials, but the man counters with them, he can do the impossible. Theo lunges at the guy, catching him off guard. She's hyped to hit the new bathhouse, and he promises she'll be there in no time. A guy ahead spots Kelly and shouts her name. She asks what happened. He smiles, saying Theo needs a bath, and her face lights up with joy. She smiles and nods, but when Theo says he's counting on her, she suddenly freezes with a dark premonition. He heads out, promising to wait. Kelly agrees, but a confused Theo asks where he's going, glancing back at the girl with worry. Kelly flashes a terrifying grin, promising it one to hurt, but the wolf girls only panic more as they trade terrified looks. Theo's worried but brave. Since Kelly's handling the entertainment and the outfits, it's best to leave Theo in her care. Begelef asks if he's finished. The boy agrees, apologizing for the wait. Theo tells the group to push their limits. While they wait for Theo and Kelly, they're finally reunited and ready to work as a team. Kelly towels the girl before the bath. Theo asks why, but the girl cryptically promises she'll find out soon, in an encouraging tone. Theo and Shiro burst in cheering, but Kelly panics, warning them the water is scalding and the floor is slippery. She opens the door and blinks, scanning the room in shock. She spots a massive room with a steaming bath, and her eyes light up. Kelly's stunned, he actually nailed it. The place looks magical, and she's beaming at the new tub. Kelly spots the sloped floor for drainage. It's slippery, but she admits the work is top tier. Kelly's shocked. This wooden tub stays hot forever. What's the secret? She spots the massive tub just as the girl sprints happily into the bathroom. She dives into the tub, splashing Kelly head-on. Drenched, she starts dog paddling in the tub, and he realizes she needs a serious lesson in manners. Kelly shakes dry, asking why she thought she was too scared to get in. She says it feels great, and the other agrees they're used to hot baths. Kelly asks if they visited the baths. The girl mentions finding hot groundwater, but freezes in shock when Kelly points out the window. Kelly realized a hot spring was nearby. She suddenly turns sad and says they can go, leaving the other girl stunned. Theo says they all gathered to swim, lick each other, and play. The girl breaks down, crying they can go, while Kelly watches with regret. She bursts from the water, licking Theo's face to cheer her up. Kelly looks over, stunned to see Shiro. She watches the girl cheer up and laugh, clutching her loyal wolf. They're hilarious. Kelly's hooked and decides to keep watching. Theo grabs the linen, thrilled it's finally dry. He's stunned his clothes dry in 10 minutes, especially since he used to worry his sheets wouldn't dry by tonight. Fire and wind create a scorching blast that dries out everything. Theothrosa covers Bagile and thanks the man. Voices and compliments echo from the bathhouse. He and the crowd peer in, questioning if it's really FIO. He spots a girl in a stunning outfit. She turns and spots her friend. Theo shows off her outfit and asks what he thinks. He's impressed, telling her the outfit looks perfect. Kelly's outfit is made from local monsters, leaving the man shocked. She's rocking such rare gear. Kelly smirks, asking who he thinks she is. Knowing the kid needs fresh gear, he looks at the girl in awe and admits this is way better. He leans in and calls Theo beautiful, earning a happy bark and a wagging tail in thanks. The boy thanks Kelly, and the girl follows suit, thrilled with her new clothes. He freezes, spotting something strange. He spots a fluffy white shearer on the floor. Sensing the stare, the wolf locks eyes and barks back. He turns, shocked the fur is silver, not white. Kelly admits his bath shocked her too. She actually thought he was just a local magic wolf. She eyes Shiro and reconsiders. He's definitely a higher species. Theo watches, knowing he'll always be happy for them. Evening falls, bath time for the men. Theo exhales, claiming nothing beats a hot bath after a long day. Everyone can finally rest easy. It was a brutal grind, but he's glad he pulled it off. Theo's only worry is Beagleaf, but the guy's way too massive for a shared bath. Remembering Kelly's mountain hot spring tip, he decides to find it and take Begalef there. He knows everyone had his back today, and he's beyond grateful. Theo recalls his labor days. He handled everything but combat. He admits helping others feels good and looks ahead. Theo finally gets friendship, and he's loving the feeling. Walking the path, he admits the bath was so good he lost track of time until Victor suddenly calls out. Shocked to see Victor, the man immediately apologizes. Victor forgot the subject, Theo worries, but lets it slide, knowing Victor's buried in work. The man admits there's no excuse, but Victor suddenly clutches his head in searing pain. Worried, he asks what happened, but the man says it's just a headache. Theo wonders if Victor's just overworked and asks him about his day. Victor hit the farms, crunched numbers with scientists, and assigned tomorrow's tasks, leaving Theo stunned by his insane workload. Victor calls it easy work, but the guy stops him from taking more, admitting Victor's already overworking. He admits they're completely useless without Victor. Theo asks to slash his workload, leaving Victor stunned. He knows these groups drive camp progress if one person gets sick. Productivity tanks. Theo knows the danger Victor poses, but the man just laughs like it's a joke. Victor laughs at Theo's advice, but thanks him and promises to stay alert. Victor suddenly grips his chest, reeling from the intense pain. Next morning, he wakes up and scans the room, seeing his friends still fast asleep. The boys sleep piled together in the morning sun. A perfectly peaceful start, he thinks. He pets Shiro, remembering last night's play session. Everyone crashed, tired but happy. They're out cold from exhaustion. But he smiles. They're just kids, hungry for adventure. He's glad they're finally a team. Seeing the boys stir, he smiles and wakes them with a warm good morning. Theo and Bagaliev trade sleepy looks and giggle over a shared secret. Theo loses it over the cuteness, hiding his face as he realizes they look perfect together. Snapping back to focus, he orders his friends up for breakfast before someone else catches them sleeping. 3 days since landing, the boy knows it's time to grind and keep the adventure moving. The door slams open, and a breathless Kelly bursts in, yelling Theo's name. Surprised, the boys spin around to eye the worried newcomer. Seeing Kelly out of breath, he asks why she's in such a hurry. A bewildered Theo apologizes for missing breakfast, but the girl fixes her hair and snaps that they have no time for that. Kelly gasps for air, worriedly admitting they have a sick person. She warns it's poison, and he's absolutely terrified by the shock. Patients pack the infirmary as doctors scramble to save them. A doctor magically cures the poison. She warns the doctors she's rushing to get Theo's help. She rushes him to the infirmary and checks his progress. She delivers the grim news: things are looking bad because Detox magic failed. Detox magic failed. Panicked, he demands their status. The doctor diagnoses fever and vomiting as food poisoning, leaving the guys stunned. Kelly reports 7 more victims in one house. After testing everyone, she suspects a bad meal triggered the reaction. He knows Kelly's a genius researcher and useless at anything else, but right now, she's indispensable. Theo asks for a healer, and Kelly confidently says she knows one. She lays out the food the 7 victims ate yesterday, demanding a test. Kelly asks the distracted guy what poison they were dealing with. He activates his eye to scan every detail. He touches the items, analyzing them carefully. Kelly and the doctors wait in hopeful tension, whispering nervously for the results. Theo spots something in the analysis. He leans in, grabs a berry, and asks what it is. Confused, the girl says it's just a normal strawberry. Kelly adds she's eaten them since she was a kid, making the whole thing sound harmless. Kelly's shocked. Is this really not their local strawberry? It looks identical. Holding the berries, he admits the truth. They aren't harmless. He blames the berries for the sickness, insisting they re-poisonous. The boys look around, stunned. They can't believe their ears. Kelly's shocked they looked so harmless, warning that adventurers should never eat unknown plants. He nods, thinking it over, and says it looks like a real strawberry. Water or soil, he's sure they're ancient, weak, but still lethal. She asks again, but he demands to know how many berries she ate. Kelly thinks and says 5. He says that dose isn't fatal, just drink water to feel better. Relieved, she agrees. Kelly is hyped. They finally found the source of the illness. They exchange a grim look, ready to drop the bad news. Kelly sighs, admitting someone else is in much worse shape. She drags him into the next room where Victor is in critical condition. Theo's terrified for his sick friends, but Victor's the worst off. A girl reveals he's unconscious with a high fever. He ate the same as the others, but he's hit the hardest. Voice trembling, he wonders why this happened to him. Kelly insists Victor is too tough for poison to kill, but the doctor scoffs, asking why she's looked so pale lately. Theo admits Victor's a wreck. He's suffering from poison and total overwork. Theo remembers Victor's chest pain from overwork. He's furious he missed the signs, knowing he could have saved his friend if he'd just noticed in time. Victor snaps awake, and a worried Theo asks how he feels. The guy asks what happened, but Victor barely recognizes him, struggling just to stand. Guilt-stricken, he apologizes, begging the guy not to look at him in this pathetic state. Theo smiles warmly, telling him everything's fine, and to just rest. Sitting by the man, the boy admits this continent is a nightmare. They need to vet every ingredient and stay sharp, making Victor laugh in agreement. Inspired by Theo, the man refuses to rest, but he suddenly goes silent. Tension spikes as Kelly realizes he's passed out again. She warns the worst is coming, leaving him twitching in terror. He bolts up, determined, and tells Kelly to help the doctor. The confused doc asks where he's headed. As the world's top adventurer, Theo refuses to just sit back and watch. He's finding that antidote himself. Back home, Theo finds his friends waiting. He asks if they stayed the whole time, as the girl worriedly checks if he's all right. Nervous, he gathers his thoughts and finally tells them he's leaving for a while. Suddenly, a genius idea hits him. Theo asks Theo and Shiro if they know where to find healing herbs. Her eyes spark as she points the way to the herbs, the wolf barking in total agreement. She points to the mountain, claiming medicinal herbs grow there. Theo warns the herbs taste nasty, but they'll get better soon. Hyped, he thanks her and warns he's hunting them down. Pale with fear, the girl warns of a bear, and the boy panics. Horrified, the boy asks if the bear lives where the herbs grow. She nods, her face darkening. She claims the bear slaughtered everyone. Terrified, she trembles as his shoulders slump in shock. He realizes the bear took over Fio and Shiro's territory, right where the healing herbs grow. Shiro's a high-tier magical wolf, but he realizes even a superior species like that couldn't win. He envisions the mission and realizes he's no match for this beast. Remembering his faithful Begaliaf, he refuses to quit. Sitting close, the man apologizes for the danger, but begs Begaliaf to come with him. Theo needs help to save Victor. Begaliaf just stares back, lost in thought. Begaliaf scowls, looks down, and shocks the kid by admitting he doesn't want to go and sees no reason to. Theo stares in shock. Confused by the rejection, Begaliaf persists, promising a full day of play if he joins. The boy listens closely, weighing the offer. Begaliaf agrees, ready to do whatever it takes to finish the mission and save Victor. Theo gazes at Begaliaf, pure joy surging through him. He'll cherish their bond forever. Eyes glowing, Theo and Shuro demand to join, leaving the guy stunned. Theo watches the girl hug the wolf, wondering if they're really joining the crew. Shiro reads his mind and tells him to ignore the bear. Theo stares back, stunned by his sudden confidence. Shiro confidently declares that despite losing their family, he says they trust him, shocking the guy again. Eyes shut, he wonders if bringing them on this deadly mission is worth the risk. Theo needs their help to find the herbs fast. He agrees, but orders them to run the moment he says so. The boys bravely accept. He steps out, confidently declaring it's time to go. First, they re-hitting the infirmary to check on Victor. Kelly spots him and asks for an antidote update. He knows the poisonous formula, but needs herbs to craft it. He asks them to guard the patients one more night. He tells them to bring everyone over. The sickest ones need his indoor bathroom. Kelly's surprised how'd he finish so fast. He apologizes for asking so much during this rough time. Fired up, he rushes to find the herbs and save Victor's life. Theo shouts they're heading deep into the forest, catching the girl off guard. Kelly calls him insane for facing those beasts, but he insists it's the only way to save Victor. They all heading there together. It's the only way to save Victor, so they're all going. He reassures Kelly they'll bolt at the first sign of trouble. Kelly realizes what is happening. He tells her they have no choice. They have to act. She agrees to go, but warns the bear's danger is unknown. He tells her not to worry, they'll be extra careful. Fired up for adventure, the boy leads the group out of camp and deep into the forest. Watching from the window, the doctor tries to speak, but Kelly cuts him off. They have no choice but to let him go on this dangerous journey. Kelly's uneasy. These scientists know absolutely nothing about this continent. Staring at the mountain, she begs them to stay safe, praying they make it back alive. Trekking through the woods, he warns the boys, when the signal drops or you sense danger, run for your lives. Theo and Shiro nod in trust, staying cautious. The boy hates being too weak to protect them. Still, he'll protect them with everything he's got until the end. Wait, but even so is a bit weak. Still is better. Time to move. They push deep into the forest toward the mountain, determined to find the herbs and save Victor. Kelly snaps at Theo to try it, demanding why he's too scared to step forward. Paralyzed by fear, he tries to reject the offer, but his mind is a total mess. Kelly's friend urges Theo to push forward, but the exhausted boy knows disaster is coming. Recalling Theo's stone hunt, Kelly mentions Begaliaf's pact to guard this land. The dragon respects him, so she thinks it's worth a shot. She claims this marks their territory and points to a tree, but Theo facepalms in despair, refusing to ever agree He scratches his head and looks away, knowing Kelly never cared about stuff like this. He spots Theo, Shiroro, and Bagaliaf staring back with sparkling eyes. Terrified by the sight, he has no clue what they want. Kelly insists they be recounting on him, asking if he'd really crush their hope and hurt them. He freezes in a daze, completely lost on what to do next. Ashamed of his savage behavior, he follows the group into the woods, while Theo plots her next move. He knows it's social behavior, but doesn't get why he's involved. Suddenly, Theo grabs Bagaliaf's tail. He's spiraling, wondering why he brought Theo and the crew, but seeing her joyfully ride Bagaliaf's tail forces a smile. Watching his laughing friends, he wonders if they've already forgotten the weird proposal. They've stopped caring, but Kelly spots their boredom and hatches a plan to cheer them up. The girl screams, and Theo whips around to face her. She shoves a giant worm in his face, innocently asking what he thinks, sending him screaming into the woods. Kelly smiles, asking if the baby's cute, while the guy stares in absolute terror. Stunned, he asks what it is, but Kelly found it roadside and has no clue. She even asked Theo, shocking the boy, who thought Theo knew everything. Kelly says Theo called it tasteless. He replayed her words. Kelly offers a taste, but Theo refuses, shocked. The girl actually had to eat it. Watching Theo play with the wolf, he notes that with her herd gone, she's forced to eat to survive. Kelly says life defines survival if eating worms is what it takes. That's their reality. She reveals the truth to show him what's at stake, leaving him stunned as he finally sees her perspective. Kelly's eccentric, but he knows she's reliable. He realizes she trusts her friends too, and apologizes for underestimating her bond with the children. He clutches his head, admitting he thought she saw people as mere objects. She laughs, asking if she really looks that cold. Kelly laughs, asking if he wonders how they taste. The guy panics, calling her crazy and screaming to get the monster away. Theo snaps, confessing he tried everything to dodge this dinner. The girl just grins, admitting she loved watching him squirm. Theo wonders why he even bothers. The boys sprint through the breezy forest as Theo asks the girl how much further they have to go. Astride her wolf, the girl confidently points ahead, cheering that the medicinal herb is just within reach. He scans the circle, determined to give his all for Victor. He bolts through the forest, appraisal magic active, scanning for anything useful. They hit the tall grass, and the wolf stops. He finds herbs, but Theo frowns. She doesn't recognize them. She asks if there's loot, but he's stunned. Did they really come all this way for just this? He gathers his thoughts, scans everything with skill evaluation, and loots every useful item in sight. Awestruck, she asks if he can really analyze anything at a glance, and Theo admits Theo is a total genius. The boy modestly calls it pure skill, leaving the girl wagging her tail in awe. Theo hasn't been praised for his judgment in years, but his ability to read people shocks everyone he travels with. He activates appraisal, scanning every blade of grass in the clearing with laser focus. He warns the antidote herbs are rare, but she insists they find them anyway. A memory hits her. She points the way. He agrees, asking for the full story. Theo senses danger as he steps on something big and round. She warns him to watch his step, but he's stunned. He had no idea mushrooms could explode. To his right, a massive plant devours a reptile. Fears conquered, the boys trek the landslides, plunging deep into the mysterious forest. They spot a massive snake and dive behind a tree, holding their breath. The girl cheers as they finally arrive, but the guy facepalms. Exhausted by the long, brutal journey, she snatches the leaves, shouting that they finally found Victor's salvation. She smiles, saying it made her feel better, so he agrees and hypes her up to check it out. His expert eyes recognize it instantly, a common forest herb that aids digestion and kills stomach pain. Enraged by the simple truth, her hopes shatter. The boy stays cool, explaining the herb only treats stomachs it want to touch the poison she fears. Via panics, terrified, she dragged them on a massive journey for absolutely nothing. Theo suddenly grabs her head, strokes her hair, and shuts down her fears, promising they'll face anything together. He smiles and pats her head. They'll be useful once the antidote is found. He tells Theo she did a great job. She beams, wags her tail, and happily agrees. They gather the grass. Theo hopes it helps Victor, cure or not. Suddenly, the beast calls his name. Theo spins. What happened to Begali? Beguilio catches a mysterious scent. The beast emerges, and he orders it to stand. He chases him, yelling to wait, then spots a stone-rimmed pond through the trees. Is it a hot spring? Stunned by the scale, he calls it a giant swimming pool. The far shore is a blur. This place is massive. Begalev licks the water and warns Theo it's hot, confirming it's a hot spring. He checks the effects, fatigue, and skin recovery. Useless. Suddenly, the girl spots something and points Theo toward the distance. She spots more herbs across the river. Theo squints, but he can see a thing. He needs to close in, but the target is so massive, he wants to reach it until sunset. Giant stomps shake the earth, and he spots it. The beast enters the water with a sigh, telling the stunned hero to rely on him. They float. MC asks to slow down, and he agrees. The girl loves it, but Theo panics, begging him to slow down before they die. He spots the shore ahead. They've almost made it. Gilleaf reaches the shore. They hop off. MC thanks him and is stunned by the flowers. Our hero stands before a stunning flower meadow, completely awestruck by the view. He grabs a flower and concentrates, carefully analyzing its properties and effects. Stunned, she asks Theo if this flower is what they need. He stays silent, so Begalev asks what's wrong. But the MC suddenly pulls all three into a surprise hug. He cheers. They finally found the herbs to cure the poison. He holds up a flower, and the crowd erupts with joy. She keeps shouting, they finally found it. They grab flowers until he says it's enough. He smiles and thanks them for their hard work. Victor's saved, leaving the group in shock. The beast acts for his pack. Gilleaf loves the praise, and the girl laughs. The girl tells Theo it's time to go home, and Begiliaf adds that everyone's waiting on him. MC grins, herbs secured and ready to head home, but a sudden sound freezes everyone in their tracks. He shields his wary team, sensing a sudden dark presence. He stares into the forest, sensing the aura right in front of him. Who could it be? He warns the group to hold their ground as the beast snarls. Tense, he wonders who's lurking ahead. Theo recalls the countless battles and monsters he's already survived. He ducks behind a tree, peeking at a beast far deadlier than the rest, when he spots a silhouette in the brush. Stunned, he wonders who this is as a massive beast looms in the bushes, radiating a dark aura and clutching something. Shocked, he wonders who this is, while his team glares at the motionless monster. The beast rustles the brush, and he spots it lurking behind a tree. He signals his team to stay hidden. They obey, while MC warns Begalev to stay back, hoping the guy actually understands the signs. Theo's stunned by the creature's massive aura. This isn't a normal monster, spirit or demon. The girl just growls and calls it a bear. He asks if this is the same bear that attacked them. This thing is clearly no bear, but that doesn't matter now. Theo needs a plan, fast. The beast yanks the ropes with its claws, dragging out a pack of terrified wolf pups. They stalk forward, growling and panting. He's stunned. They're wolves, just like she. Recalling his friend's warning about the bear, he eyes Faihu, Shiro, and Shock, finally realizing where this is headed. He's stunned as Theo and Shiro snarl at the enemy with bared teeth. They snarl, and Theo finally knows he's definitely the one who attacked him and Shiro. The boy watches the creature lead the cubs. One whimpers, and the beast strikes with full force, making it squeal. The beast roars, striking a wolf and paralyzing the rest with fear. Theo watches in tearful rage, ready to strike, but the monster shrieks again. MC stays calm. Panic gets the whole party killed. He remembers tracking those goblins. Theo vows survival, then targets Begalia. He asks the beast to help kill the creature, and it agrees. Theo orders Theo and Kiro to stay back, insisting he needs to cool his head for the best results. He orders them to stay hidden, while he and Begalif distract the enemy to rescue the wolf cubs. He plots a distraction and explains the plan to Beagle, but the beast asks if they'll really be okay. MC smiles from the grass, insisting everything's fine. Let him believe it. Theo smiles, vowing to protect them all, and the beast obeys. Gelif agrees. The MC says it's fine and turns to Theo and Shiro. He tells them to listen, stop the guilt trip, because blaming yourselves won't fix anything. He admits it wasn't their fault. Theo listens as the MC pats her head. She's stunned. This is the first time he's ever stroked her. She's strangely calm. He steps up, eyes locked on the enemy's silhouette. He closes the distance and moves in. He's so cocky he won't even look back. Time to show him he's not that strong. He charges, activates creation to manifest a club, and grips his new weapon tight. He's got to stay sharp, 15 meters to the target. He's closing in. He lunges out screaming, charging his enemy for some serious payback. The monster turns. Perfect now. Its eyes are only on him. Theo and Shiro are in position, so he's got no room for self-pity. Smirking at his enemy's power, our hero lunges forward. He decks his enemy, screaming thanks for the rage. A crack echoes. The monster blocks the blow, shattering the guy's weapon. Staring at his shattered blade, he realizes the enemy is faster and way stronger. The monster sends him flying, but the guy notices he's actually got serious skills. Everything's going to plan, but the monster catches on. Theo built his weapon to shatter on purpose, because those fragments... He triggers the creation again, turning those fragments into deadly weapons. Shrapnel blasts the monster's face. No scream. Direct hit. The monster releases the wolves. Theo thinks he freed them and makes his move. The monster's eyes snap open, stunned by a sudden flash from the forest. Protag yells, and Begaliath blasts the monster straight from his mouth. During prep, the MC ordered Bagaliev to shoot him the second he gave the word. He binds him with the well rope, holding him until the very end. He shackles the monster just as Begaliev's attack strikes. He declares the monster's end, and a flash of light erupts in its place. The boy tells Theo and Shiro the plan. He and Begaliev distract him while they rescue the wolf cubs. The boy warns them to focus on saving their siblings during Begaliev's raid, as Theo grabs the wolf cubs and flees. She's thrilled they're safe, and the wolves start celebrating. But what about the monster? She watches the guy face it head-on, absolutely amazed. The monster stands unscathed as our hero stares, shocked he's still alive. The monster shrieks, baring its teeth and charging Theo. Memories of the hero flood back as he dodges the monster, proving his skills are still sharp. He's done playing. Time to end this. He reaches out and triggers assessment on the beast. Theo shouts to Begaliev, the monster fears fire. Begaliev gets the hint. This beast is insanely strong, and unlike ordinary monsters, it harbors pure hatred for all living things. End him now before he gets stronger and raids the camp. At home, a girl tends to Kelly. Hearing the group return, she looks back. MC walks in, clutching his head, and the girl is hyped to see him. Theo checks in, and Kelly reports everyone's recovering. Victor's fading fast. He needs treatment. Now that's why I'm here. He pulls out the herbs to brew the antidote, telling the girl the search nearly cost him his life. MC promises to explain later and sets the medicine down. Kelly's neighbor asks if he can craft it, and she confirms he does. He's stunned. Production skills are for making chairs, not medicine. She finally gets why Victor recruited Theo. He's finally finished. He shows the bottle, gets praised, and the girl says they need to get it to Victor. Not yet. He assesses the antidote, warning it might not work on the first try. Theo warns Victor's body might fail, killing him instantly. Asked for a solution, he slams the potion onto the table. He asks for a poisonous red berry, shocking everyone. Theo's testing the medicine himself, eat it, then hit the antidote. No time for tests, he has to be sure. The girl calls him a fool, terrified of what happens if he dies. A voice demands to test the medicine first. The guy is stunned. It's the awakened Victor. Told to stay down, he trusts Theo's skills and pops the medicine open. He gulps the potion. The boy screams his name, but it's too late. He goes silent. Victor suddenly coughs, and the horrified MC asks how he feels. Victor winces at the bitterness, but Theo apologizes for the rushed recipe. Victor claims good medicine always tastes bad, but as he hacks harder, Theo wonders if it's really that foul. Victor recoils. What's that, he asks, as bubbles materialize in the air. He's shocked. The poison is draining. She grabs Victor's hand. His pulse is back. Victor was dying before the medicine. He turns and smiles at Theo. He trusts him fully. Smiling, he tells him to quit fooling the old man. Theo lays out the meds, telling the girl everyone's doses are ready. She thanks him, and as Theo confirms she knows the drill, he turns to Kelly with a favor to ask. Kelly's stunned by the pseudo-bear, but the guy explains their version is different, struggling to describe the monster he's picturing. He calls it a demon, but labels it a pseudo-bear. Kelly questions the lie, but they only win using Begalef's magic. He finds something in the ashes. A prickly object is lodged inside him, and the shocked girl asks if it's a magic stone. Every monster drops a stone at death. She knows nothing about them, but this one looks sinister. He disagrees. His assessment proves it's not a monster, leaving the girl stunned. Theo reveals he's a non-existent creature, leaving Kelly in total shock. His assessment failed. He's never met anyone like this before. Toxic plants, unknown beasts. What else does this continent hide? Even the guide can't predict the dangers ahead. Kelly offers to help anyway. The guy agrees and turns back to the girl. He drops a final detail, tell the others. Once they recover, she spins in shock, finding the wolf cubs staring right at her. The wolf cubs adore the girl, while MC apologizes to Kelly for the secret, begging her to drop the death stare. Clear skies, foam everywhere, and someone calls it interesting. Kelly, Theo, and Shiro scrub the wolf cubs as Kelly asks why Theo hid these cuties. If they're family, they'll need to learn the house rules later. They're nervous, but she promises they'll be fine. She won't let them go anywhere dirty. Kelly says they're involved. A wolf cub screams at Theo and Shiro, leaving the girl stunned. Kelly apologizes for touching wolf cub's wound. He's covered in bruises, but nothing's broken. She feels awful and promises to be more careful. The wolf cubs whine and tremble. The girl knows their pain from Theo and promises everything will finally be okay. The girl hugs the cub, promising it's safe now. The wolf wags its tail. Few tells Kelly she's weird, but they like her anyway. She questions her weirdness, but Theo's clueless heading inside with Bajiliaf. The MC apologizes to Kelly for the constant trouble. She smiles, revealing 3 clean, towel-wrapped wolf cubs. He's stunned. Result: He asks why, and she explains it's to prevent freezing or sickness. She tells him they'll dry, and as he takes it off, Theo realizes they've finally. She agrees. They knew they were safe the second she gave them that thorough bath. They're even calmer than Theo, and Shiro MC catches them staring guiltily at the floor. They just hate the smell of soap. She asks Theo to wipe them out. He agrees, but says they'll need feeding later. The three wolf cubs burst from their towels, baffling Kelly and Theo. Theo realizes they're starving, and Theo promises them a feast. They get an endless meat feast, and the wolf cub's eyes gleam with hunger. She demands Theo hurry with the food, then stops him the moment he grabs a piece of meat. Kelly warns they're starving, and in worse shape than Theo and Kiro. Feeding them too much now would be fatal. He questions the truth, but it's forbidden. They start with small bites, leaving the wolf cubs staring at their tiny meal in shock. 24 words versus 36. Theo eyes the food and calls Kelly, her good impression of the girl vanishing. A flash hits. He stares at the spilled meds, stunned, wondering what went down. After a long day, making medicine and delivering wolf cubs, he's exhausted while the pups play with Kelly as Theo and Shiro watch. Surrounded by dirty bottles, our MC passes out cold. Why is his reflection in the bottles? The Goliath looks nothing like him. He suspects Kelly, but she's exhausted and the others are out cold. Suddenly, he spots a creature behind a basket. He calls it out, and the thing flinches in fear. He expects a tiny monster, but a slime leaps from behind the basket, squeaking. Stunned, he realizes it's a slime. Everyone thinks it's weak, but they're dead wrong. These toxic, brainless pests swarm to dissolve or trample their prey. He still remembers the nightmare of fleeing that slug horde. Theo eyes the starving slime. Driven by pure hunger, he warns it to stay back, but it lunges, pouncing straight for him. Shocked, he watches the slime leap into his hands and squeak, asking what happened to it. He's never seen a slime this friendly. Is it a new species? He tries talking, but accidentally tames it. Theodore introduces himself, but a beep cuts the slime short, proving his thoughts are nearly impossible to read. The slime calls his name, saying, "It's delicious." He thinks he heard something familiar and forces himself to focus. The MC hears the slime again, calls his name, and says he's delicious. Shocked, he asks if the slime wants to eat him, but it just squeaks back. The slime leaps past the food and heads straight for the medicine jar, shocking the MC. MC's shocked by the clean bottles and asks the slime if it helped. It squeaks back. The slime loves the smell and taste. He gets hit with deja vu, remembering a similar moment with Bagili F. Theodore asks if it's the mana scent. Just like the Bagaliev, the slime agrees to them. He's just a meal. Monsters are obsessed with him. Is his mana a delicacy? The slime confirms it and demands more. He pokes the slime and offers a familiar contract. It accepts instantly, leaving him stunned by how easy it was. Adventurers see slimes as hungry, evil monsters. Is this a lucky break or a death sentence? He accepts. Betting on the massive perks, he tells the slime. It scrubbed the bottles and the floor. Is that even its job? The slime squeaks back. It was dirty, so he made it shine. He grumpily introduces two cleaners, already fed up with their daily chores. Theo tosses the slime, names it Pie, and puts it on cleaning duty. He's officially tamed it. Everyone's obsessed with the cute slime, and the MC realizes Pie is already a hit. Morning hits, and the duo is stunned to find Victor standing tall. They ask if he's better. Yesterday, he couldn't even walk. Theo takes the credit, stunning them with his skills, but the mass poisoning proves he joined the wrong team. The guys spot slime on Kellyanne's shoulders and want in. What the hell is going on? MC grins and introduces Pie as their new ally, but he's clearly just a slime. The team panics at the slime, but the MC tells them to relax. He dealt with these in the Hero S party, so he has got this handled. The slime drains his mana and relaxes him better than a pro masseuse. Only his head stays tense. More than a massage, Theo brings fresh clothes. Victor's stunned, but Theo mocks his love for dirt. Victor calls the slime useful and greets Pi, but it lunges and sucks him dry. Plates cleared, Victor pivots to work. Meanwhile, the MC realizes that massage hit him hard too. Victor explains why work stalled yesterday. The crew listens until one guy raises his hand to speak. Despite the sickness, the plan's on track. They've pushed deep. Just look at this. Theo's ordered to stay behind with the wolves as the group heads into the forest. Theo's hyped for his land. Begalef watches, knowing this dream of freedom is why he's here. He feared the struggle at first, but now he's finally at peace. He's racing to see the land, but a sudden shock stops everyone. Cold MC turns, wondering what just happened. Everyone's baffled by the massive holes scarring the earth. The hero is shocked. The fields are already ruined. But Victor warns this is pure horror. Yesterday, people worked here. Today, it's a cratered wasteland. Someone reaches out, touching the scarred earth. Kelly checks the ground. It's no human, but a monster. The MC is stunned. She dismisses the wool as a chimera, but he spots something and tells her to wait. She says it's a chimera, a beast made of mixed animal parts. He's stunned. Is this for real? Everyone's reeling. A chimera did this? He asks Kelly why it's here. She recognizes the hair as her own, but has no. Fused from multiple beasts, chimeras wield magic and rival the strength of dragons. They re-aggressive and deadly. They never expected monsters stronger than that bear. She'll strike again. They need her dead, but with no trail, how do they find her? MC asks if Begalia can track her scent, and he confirms. The ghillie targets the chimera's trail and points to a detour, making the MC realize this one to be over quickly. Sensing a powerhouse, the slime slips off his shoulder, catching him off guard. The slime bolts MC chases, yelling for it to stop. What's gotten into him? Pi detects a massive mana spike, leaving the MC stunned. Victor asks what's wrong with Pi, and the guy realizes he found the field destroyer. Recalling the slime words, his massage skill confirms he can sense even the tiniest glimmer of mana. Theo smiles, vowing to hunt the chimera alone. The man offers backup, but Theo refuses. More people just means more targets for a monster this deadly. He's not looking to die, he'll bolt at the first sign of danger, and Begali AF is backing him up. Victor prays for their safety as the Bagaliev wielder advances. Approaching the cave, he realizes the mana is just as strong as the fields it's coming from right inside. He hates this storming an unknown enemy's lair is a suicide mission. The guy senses something and scans the area. Goliath asks what's wrong, but he warns they aren't alone. Who's there? It looks like that same monster. He thinks he's seeing things and heads back. Biggyleaf smells blood and warns Theodore someone's crying for help. Lantern in hand, our hero enters the cave, telling Begiliev to follow the light and watch his step. Panicked, he hears a cry for help. They burst into the room and freeze in shock. They find a massive, sick boar gasping for air. It looks like a demonic boar, but something's definitely off. The mangled boar glares and growls, but the MC tries to calm him down. He apologizes for the break-in, promising no violence if things stay peaceful. Theo offers to treat the wound, but something suddenly appears behind them. A man strikes with a sword, yelling to leave the boar alone, but Gilef shoves the O clear. MC's stunned by the perfect swordplay, but Begaleoff reveals the truth. This is a human. Theo realizes they aren't alone, and the girl suddenly feels sick. He catches the falling girl and asks if she's okay, only to realize she's burning up. She asks if he's Theo. He recognizes Giselle, and she smiles. Memories flood back. He asks why she's here, but she just smiles. She stands and laughs, telling him he hasn't changed. Theo realizes it's Giselle Lulutz. Humanity's savior finally meets him, but she's looking rough. He warns her to rest, asking if she's been poisoned again. But Giselle just snaps. She's only eating red berries now. He knows, but she just wants a smile. He sighs. He has questions, but first, he asks why she tried to kill him. Dazed, she admits she thought Borbor was under attack. He demands her name again. He asks about the boar, but Giselle corrects him. It's a Chimera. He says she looks nothing like he expected. Giselle reveals she's a chimera, but a different breed than the others. Feel ignores logic. If Giselle says it, it's law. God-chosen heroes lead with power and wisdom far beyond ordinary mortals. Borbor is harmless, so he needs an exam. The girl snaps. Is he even listening? He apologizes, but she wants Borbore helped first. He praises her noble heart. She's badly hurt, but she snaps, demanding they heal Borbore first. The baby's worried. A tiny piglet grunts pitifully beside the massive boar. He sees a true hero in her selfless, kind, and always putting others first. MC confirms Borbor survives. He saved Giselle, letting her finally rest, and she thanks him. She calls him amazing, feeling better after one sip. He tells her to stop. She's a hero who could have healed herself. Pointing at the evil Begaleia, she asks who it is. As he tells Theo, she attacked them. He's fuming. Is she next? Seeing his confusion, the guy tells him to stand down. She's not the enemy. His name is Begalife, the first living dragon she's ever seen. She calls him cute, and the hippo instantly transforms into a dragon. Begalife rushes for a hug, doubting his dragon nature. After that instant change of heart, he's got questions for Giselle. First, they head back to camp before the others freak out. Everyone stares at the blonde in shock, remembering his earlier words. Giselle smiles and waves, stunning the crowd as Theo and Begalife trail behind. Victor asks what she forgot. Giselle says it's been a while, but Victor greets her and repeats the question. He asks Theo for an explanation, but Theo's just as clueless. Theo asks how she arrived. Giselle says she hitched a ride during an expedition, and Theo realizes they're the ones from the small boat. He realizes he wasn't in the cave. Where's her friend Victor? Yells that the joke's over. They ask about her capital missions. The hero rewards the brave and handles the king's errands. Smiling, she asks about her job, then drops the news. She's fired. Theo and Victor are stunned, and Victor passes out. Victor's out cold again. Theo screams for him to wake up as they restart his treatment, while the MC heads for Giselle. To prevent a repeat, she hides the truth while Victor rests to recover. Shocked, she asks O if he's responsible and demands he explain the well. He glares gloomily, demanding an explanation first and scaring her half to death. Why care if she's here? He hated the kingdom anyway. Theo's stunned. 10 years after slaying the demon lord, Giselle's a busy hero and a beloved icon. She's always whining about her duties. Theo asks if his ceremony speeches are the problem, and she agrees he's the one stuck with the fun task. She and Lilia hatched a plan. He remembers her, the hero group's sorceress. She hands him a stack of papers to deliver to the royal castle. Giselle asks if these are reports, and Lilia confirms, but why is her name on them? She doesn't remember writing a word. Lilia lists every kingdom failure, from broken sewers to stagnant healthcare. If she tells the king, the entire castle will erupt in chaos. He's stunned. Giselle never cared for glory. She hated her post-war job and only craved adventure. They were all just using her. Even a savior has a breaking point. But what if? Giselle dives into politics, shocking the king with her reports, while she laughs about terrifying everyone for fun. Giselle's more popular than the king. Fearing her influence, the crown labels her a threat and kicks her out of the castle. Back to adventuring, she smiles, her soul finally at peace. She thanks Alilia and giggles, remembering he headed for an unknown continent. Giselle expected him to be shocked, but he knew this was exactly what she wanted. She confirms the spot and asks for a tour, but Theo demands her plan first. Who wounded Boa Boa? She doesn't even know if he's alone. Theo says it's hopeless, he's too big to move, and the wound is too deep. He'll visit tomorrow instead, then shows them the kitchen. She apologizes for being selfish, but Boa Boa took care of her, so he asks about it again. She searched for them the moment she arrived, but found nothing. Giselle searched everywhere. Exhausted and hungry, she finally runs into Boa Boa. He asks if she fought him, but she says no, he's actually a nice guy. He shares food and helps her for days. She wonders if they can be friends without teaming skills. Then he warns her about the bats. She reveals he was attacked last night, returning home unexpectedly and half dead. He passes out, she eats the berries, and he's stunned anyone could hurt him. Did she see the attacker? She says the attacker is unlike any monster or beast she's ever seen. From afar, he's a bear leaking miasma, but up close, he's human. His aura is terrifying. He recognizes the beast. It's the same monster he just fought. He asks if the monster looked like him. He shows her its face, and she confirms it was him. He hasn't changed. Nui asks her what happened next and where he ran. Giselle admits she killed him, but regrets it, while he's stunned by her effortless power. He claims he only won thanks to Begaliev. Theo realizes she's a powerful hero as she apologizes. Giselle owed Boa Boa a favor, but she wanted revenge on that beast anyway. Furious, she slashed the massive horned beast, which looked nothing like the one the MC killed. Their species makes their very existence a massive threat. They outnumbered. How do they fight? She's stunned by something beautiful. Standing on the cliff, she stares at the pond, mesmerized by the stunning sunset. Giselle claims she hasn't seen views this good in a decade, but the MC thinks she's overreacting. She disagrees. Sharing this view again just brings back the memories. Nothing tops those memories. She remembers every friend. 10 years later, at 14, she didn't know she was different, but things changed forever. It's unsettling, especially after what happened. She meets an enemy even she can beat. What's her move? She blanks out until he snaps her back. Holding 2 mugs, he asks if she's spacing out again. Giselle takes over the watch and tells him to rest, but he refuses to sleep. She sips her drink as the MC speaks, shocking her by manifesting a teddy bear. She grabs it, senses her unease, so when Giselle asks why, he treats her like a kid. He calls her a kid, admitting he's the oldest with 0 combat skills, and she's only 14. Saving the world is already her burden. She shouldn't carry everything alone. She has limits, but they don't. Asking for help isn't shameful. Bound as comrades, the hero and the girl stare into the fire, her teddy bear held tight. Giselle felt she'd never measure up. Theo wonders if he actually said it. He did everything but fight. But now she's grown up and finally useful. Too ashamed to speak up sooner, she secretly wanted to join him on the trip. She wants one more adventure, at least until he's sick of her. He says they're still friends, pats her head, and thanks her for coming. Hero joins Giselle's stands, flashing a smile and a wave. Asks about the sailor, but she's clueless. He reminds her she claimed a friend gave her a lift. Theo asks if Giselle sailed to the new continent. It's dangerous alone. They have to search. She asks if she mentioned the sailor. She reminds him her savior wasn't human, just as a dragon appears right in front of them. Victor smirks at Jaziel's welcome, mug in hand. The girl's stunned. She never expected a hero in these savage wilds. Everyone panics, asking if Ouroboros is next, but the MC steps in to calm the crowd. He reminds them of the goal. The dragon appears. They stare in silence. Victor asks why the dragon is here, but he's just as shocked as everyone else. It's a heavenly dragon, but nameless since it's not a familiar. He's an old friend. They share a connection, but who else? Giselle smirks, it's hers. They met him 10 years ago while hunting the Demon Lord. Deep in a lethal swamp sits the Demon Lord's castle, a toxic fortress crawling with demons. Plus, a dragon tribe that didn't care about humans or demons. To reach the castle, they needed help, but everyone froze. They were using dragons as transport. Reporting the news is a struggle, but with the girl smiling behind him, the crowd realizes they survived a mission that would have killed anyone else. Theo recognizes the dragon, but he never expected it to fly this far. He asks the dragon if it's okay so far from home. It growls back, stunning everyone except him. He admits he felt that terrifying presence before. They were way too reckless. Victor asks how Giselle tamed the dragon, and the stranger wants answers too. No taming skills. Then how'd the heavenly dragon bring her here? She's at a loss for words. She hung out in his nest and nagged him until he caved. Now she remembers everything. Ask nicely and they'll listen. Even after 10 deaths, he praises Giselle's bold assertiveness. She didn't force him. He felt the exact same way. He figures the dragon wants her back in action, and the MC gets it. He's getting restless. This place is too small. The dragon roars, but everyone thinks he's just carefree. Theo tells the dragon he's free. A sudden gust hits, and the beast soars into the sky. Theo keeps blowing everyone's minds, and now he and Shiro are locking onto him. Over dinner, they notice Giselle and Theo's bond, and Shiro asks Theo if she's sad. She denies being sad while remembering his head pat, then angrily stabs her plate and digs in. Surprised, Farga shows him she finally mastered the fork. She goes silent, seeing him happy with Jaziel. He asks, "What's wrong?" Theo stays silent. They head home, and morning breaks. He wakes up confused, buried under Shiro, Theo, wolf cubs, and Begalea. Giselle cheerfully asks how he slept. He shrugs. He just dreamed of being crushed by a boulder. Theo's covered in fur, while Begalef is smooth. Jealous, the girl asks how she can get that fluffy for a good night sleep. Giselle asks why he wants to sleep with her. He says things changed, and they need boundaries, so she asks to at least watch them. Wolf cubs swarm the girl, playing too rough. Suffocating, she begs the guy for help. Giselle befriends anyone instantly, so she'll always fit right in. Theo grabs his hand and looks down awkwardly, making him ask what happened. She says nothing's wrong, but Theo knows nothing means she's actually worried sick. MC asks Curry to check Boa Boa, and she realizes it's the Chimera. No need to ask. It's a new species. She preps the sample, but he warns her to stay sharp since it's injured. MC asks Jaziel to stay at camp, catching her off guard. Fuming, she can't go to Boa Boa, but he makes her stay. She's still recovering from that poison. Actually, let's make it even faster. Giselle's recovering, but still can't navigate. Asking her family to protect her, Theo makes his request, but refuses to force her. Theo snaps her agreement. Encouraged, Theo says she cares. In the woods, Kerry questions his choice. Theo shudders suspiciously, then leaves her and Giselle behind. She says his anxiety turned him into a living corpse. Theo denies it, but she insists he's literally undead. He denied the idea, but she stood up. Theo must face herself and find the answer. Theo stands dejected, back turned, as Giselle watches with interest. She's lost, She promised to help, but what now? Theo offers a village tour, but Giselle reveals Theo already showed her red yesterday. Theo stops dead. She's lost and confused until her brother calls out, claiming he knows exactly why she's worried. She's terrified Theo will leave. She's terrified of losing her family again. Giselle tells Theo to sit and talk. She asked what she wanted to say. Playing nice, she offered to spill about Theo. Giselle reveals how she met Theo, hinting their connection started long before he was even born. Missions were brutal, but whenever danger struck, Theo saved the day, using his wits to solve every crisis and carry the team. Giselle points to a distant peak, where a radiant heavenly dragon perches, wings spread, staring at the sky. She told me about the Dragon King, the strongest of his kind. Theo's hyped. Did Theo just tame the Dragon King? Giselle grins, claiming he's befriended the dragon. The dragons wanted to see Theo's power, giving him the perfect chance to show off. The squad was ready to fight the dragons. Theo sits down, shouting he doesn't want to fight or make enemies. He urged the dragons to stay cool and negotiate. He prayed to the Dragon King for 3 days, exposing the demon threat and demanding a new future for dragonkind. Finally convinced, the Dragon King steps in to help and thank the heroes. Theo sat in awe, beaming at the tale. She called Theo amazing, and Giselle totally agreed. Theo felt crushed, knowing so little about Theo. Curling up, she tells him he's better off coming home. Giselle asks Theo for her take on him. She looked up and called him kind. Giselle grinned, doubling down on her claims about Theo. Giselle explains that trying would have made their path easier. Theo could tame the dragon, but he refuses to do it without permission. Giselle sees Theo's kindness in him, certain he'll always listen and support her. She saw Theo shared Theo's taming power, making Theo shudder. She assumed Shiro was her familiar. Theo called him the most talented tamer he'd ever seen. He's no expert, but he'll help Theo master taming to keep her out of danger. He saw her as a daughter. Explaining his worry, Theo beamed. Riding Beagleyov through the forest, Theo agrees it's a relief Boa Boa is doing fine. Curry logged the intel, satisfied and ready to report back. She noticed Theo looked worse, but he just played dumb. She reassured him Theo and Giselle were smart enough to be fine. Theo's shocked she knows her. She plays it off, then suddenly shouts and points ahead. Sharp wooden roofs pierce the horizon. They're finally back at the village. Moving on, they spot a stunning picture. Jazz beams while playing with the wolf cubs, proving Curry worried for nothing. Hio looks up, spots Theo, and calls out. She rushed toward him, and he beamed, thrilled to see them finally thriving and having fun. He was stoked they were friends, and they grinned back in total agreement. Giselle tries to reach Theo, but he's clueless. Theo hangs her head, tormented by one burning question. She wasn't sure he'd stay forever. Hesitating, she shouted. She used a fork. Realizing her mistake, she went silent and sighed in annoyance. Theo suddenly grabs and lifts her, catching her off guard. He hoisted her higher, asked again, then started bragging. Clinging to him, she tearfully begged him to stay. He flashed a kind, gentle smile, his voice soft and confident, as he promised he'd never do it. Theo's in tears as he vows he'd never betray his family. She clings to him, sobbing loudly as he holds her. He pulls her close as she breaks down, promising she's not alone, while his friends watch with supportive smiles. Curry points to the beast's sketch, detailing their encounter with the chimera. They looked like giant boars, but they were something else entirely. They hung on her every word, firing off questions she answered instantly. She explains chimeras are animal hybrids, boar-like bodies covered in another creature's fur. Theo returned to the chimera lair and called a meeting to update the crew. Victor asks Curry the big question, are the Boa Boas dangerous? She tells them not to worry. The chimeras were kind to her, even as a stranger. Boa Boa isn't Theo's familiar, but they're in sync. Theo backs up Curry's claim to the group. The residents sighed in relief, certain they were finally safe. He reveals the chimera is already here. Curry screams in shock, and the whole room erupts in laughter. Bobo eyes Theo, asking what he needs. Theo explains the chimera's cooking, leaving Curry stunned by the beast's responsibility. The man asks for orders. Theo wants intel on the nearby caves. Bobo checks on Theo, who tells him everything's fine, and not to worry. The man asks what happened, and Theo's lair data reveals Boa Boa himself carved those craters. The beast loved the land too much to damage it. Grateful for the save, Boa Boa hits the field to pay his debt. Theo accepts the beast's field request and tracks down the manager, catching the young guy completely off guard. He asked if the guy was helping restore the field. The boss agreed. Extra help is good, but doubted Boa Boa could handle the gear. Theo eyed the chimera's hooves and agreed the beast can't use the gear. Zealot and Theo lock eyes. He's finally stepping out. Get to the field, fast. At the field, a sweaty resident asks Theo what he wants, noting they're still busy with restoration. Theo offers to help restore the field, leaving the beast stunned and in total disbelief. The tamer investigates the field's restoration while the villager stops to think. The man explains they prep the soil and plant seeds. Theo grabs a hoe and turns to Giselle. He handed her a hoe to soften the soil. That was her only job. Smiling, she grabs Theo's hoe and gets to work. The girl ordered the workers to back off. Across the field, she tells a guy to back off, and he retreats. Giselle locked in, gripping her instrument with a sharp, confident gaze. She screamed, swinging full force and smashing the ground. The hoe hits the ground, unleashing a massive shockwave that blasts the earth apart. The crowd's speechless, stunned by the sudden welcome and her massive power. A massive blast rocks the forest, sending a shockwave surging into the sky. Stunned by Giselle's power, the boy stumbles back as her strike gouges the earth. He can't believe his eyes. She asks Theo for his thoughts, and he enthusiastically praises her hard work. The villager touches the ground, stunned by the soft soil and instant progress. Theo smirks. It's rough, but fast. Oturna rushes the crowd with a grin, while a fierce Boa Boa guards his back. Victor agrees to hand over the field gear, but a nearby resident is confused. Why does he need it? The tamer grabs the gear, smiling as he calls it material. The man stares back, completely baffled. Theo visualizes the adaptation, and the objects glow. He focused on building the field device, promising to return the gear while the resident watched with intrigued trust. Theo meticulously assembles the device, checking every part in sight. He tracks his every move like a hawk, but he's still clueless about what Theo is building or what it's for. A massive plow suddenly swallows the field, and Boa Boa wears it like a horse harness. It's so huge, it covers everything. Villagers are blown away by the cattle cart, and the man finally gets what Theo's building. Theo confirms the rumors this cattle-powered plow levels soil perfectly, but it demands a massive amount of wood. Raised in a farming land, he watched mules struggle with simple plows, so he built this massive machine to give them the power they needed. He explains the device to Boa Boa, strap it on the animal, and walk to activate it. The crowd marveled at the result, and Theo beamed with pride. The locals gaped at the animal's raw power and the perfectly leveled soil, stunned by the professional rows left behind by that massive machine. A local laughs at the hero and chimera farming together, a sight that would stun his people back home. Giselle called to him, but his words made no sense. She smiles sincerely, claiming feeding the hungry is the ultimate heroic path and her greatest honor. Curry stared in shock, No normal human could finish that much work so fast. Theo appears behind her dog with a grin. She recoils, but he immediately shuts her down. While Giselle inspects the seeds, the guy tells Curry the job isn't over. Ploughing and leveling was just phase 1. Now they have to clear the land and start planting. While discussing soil prep, a shout erupts. Giselle just crushed the seeds, and she's told to keep her hands off. Giselle showed the price of brute force. The girl finally understood the omen. Everyone was ready to step up. Curry praises his smart play, rebuilding the field. This way is fast and efficient. Chimera scent fills the field, keeping other monsters away. She's stunned. Theo planned this and gives an awkward grin. Work finished. Theo thanks Boabao. The beast sighs in relief, satisfied and proud of his effort. Victor thanks Boa for the hard work, leaving Theo stunned by his manners. But when the beast and Theo start talking, Victor is left totally clueless. Theo relays the beast's message. Everyone's exhausted, so they're hitting a nearby hot spring. Boa offers to lead them to the spring for a relaxing swim. The crew hits the hot spring hyped, but Carrie's stunned. It was so close. Theo's baffled Giselle's hitting the springs, but even Victor stayed behind to work. Curry scouts the springs for wildlife, while Giselle dives in for a soak. Theodore tests the spring water he needs to report to the village first. Giselle strips to test Theo, but he screams at her to get dressed. Curry laughs about their old swims, but Theo brushes it off, claiming those were just different times. He feared they'd corrupt Theo Gall, but the girls just called him Mommy. As Giselle preps for a soak in just a towel, Curry scouts the hot springs info and water temp. Theo magically walls off the spring, separating himself from the girls. He points to the structure he built a changing room. Korea's ready in just a towel. Theodore snaps away, hiding his face, completely flustered. As they debated if they'd seen this before, Giselle already dove into the water with a massive splash. Theodore smiles awkwardly, calling Curry a true adventurer. He leans against the rocks, half submerged and satisfied with a towel on his head. Across the wall, Theo admits nothing beats a hot outdoor bath, and the girls are thrilled. Splashing erupts as Giselle plays around. An annoyed Curry watches her tear through the water with a satisfied grin. Chimeras swim with Theo and the girl in a spring, massive enough for a sky dragon. Curry's already planning to invite one next time. Theo's fuming. This spring is massive enough for Beglyaf to swim, while his camp bath is a cramped joke. The tamer grins and checks on Begiliaf, who lets out a satisfied cry. Post-bath, he barely recognizes Theo with her hair down. He calls out. She smiles, and he grabs a strand. It's silky and elegant, like an aristocrat. Smug and satisfied, the girls loved his reaction, but he didn't recognize these strangers with hair like expensive silk. Giselle lets a slug dry her hair, shocking Theo by understanding it perfectly despite having zero taming skills. Pip uses mana to fix damaged hair. Theo's skeptical until he sees the flawless results, and the slime is proud. Pips buffs himself too. She offers a slug, but Theo leaps back, rejecting the boost and insisting he's fine. She kept pushing him to test his slug's powers, backing Curry's hype. A slug slams into Theo's face mid-sentence. He claws at it, but it clings on tight as the girls watch, eager to see the result. The whole squad's rocking magnificent curls, and they're practically glowing. Back home, the locals didn't recognize the boys, but they loved the supply. A cute sneeze rings out its Theo. Theo's rushing breakfast when a sneeze makes him worry she's sick. Dogs swarm her for cuddles as she sneezes from the chill. Seeing her buried under 6 furry friends, Theo relaxes. She's finally warm. Feeling the evening chill, he asked Theo when the year hits its coldest point. She raised her hands high to show the snow's depth, leaving Theo stunned by the massive drifts. Winter's coming, and they're still stuck working outside. They need to prep before the snow hits. As he plans, a cheerful group gathers behind him. A hooded girl with pointed ears stares him down while her friends chat away. Theo enters the house as Victor butchers meat. Victor turns, asking about the covered passages. You wanted answers, so you went to see what he was doing. Victor cooks for the begging kids, while Theo apologizes for losing track of their food. Victor loved it. They still had room to grow, so he handed them a plate of meat. Theo's stunned. The infamous Bloody Wind Victor is feeding wolf cubs. His old crew wouldn't believe their eyes, but Victor just laughs, claiming his fame is nothing compared to Theo's legendary squad. The heroes crushed the demon war, ending the nightmare and becoming the world's ultimate saviors. Theo knew demons were monsters. Even Jazeel almost died. So it's no wonder everyone's terrified. They remembered the question and dove right in. Theo hears about the heavy winter snow and suggests building covered walkways. He suggests a dining room to survive the winter freeze, and Victor agrees. He calls for climate and geology experts to build a plan, and a hyped Theo thanks him. They used maps and experts to find the perfect spot for their canteen. Work-s finished, and everyone's hyped with the results. The dining room is massive and fully furnished, meaning they can finally eat without worrying about the wind or rain. Theo suddenly zones out, his gaze turning distant. Victor steps in, asking what's on his mind. Theo realizes the circular passage will pool rainwater right in the center. To avoid that fate, he built a drain. Victor agreed, but didn't see the problem. Theo worries the drainage system might fail, so he triggers a test run. The sky was cloudless. They credited the hero's arrival for the sun, but Victor figured it was just a dry season. Nobody controls the weather. Theo realized magic could summon the rain. Lily summons storms to crush the Othot, but he doubts she can actually manipulate the weather. Victor rejects Theo. Lilia's magic is just too elite. Climate control takes insane power. Only a genius like Lilia can pull it off. No other mage could pull this off. Theo's old team just set his standards sky high. Victor remembered settlers who could command the weather. Theo cheered, but Victor shut him down. The mage wanted nothing to do with Theo, leaving him completely stunned. He didn't get the magician's deal, but Victor shut him down, telling him not to rush to judgment. Victor knew Giselle's arrival meant time had passed, but Theo didn't see the link. Victor's cut off as something streaks toward them, forcing the group to scatter as it narrowly misses. Theo scans for the source, but her enemy is nowhere to be seen. Victor realized it wasn't an attack. It was a warning to keep quiet about why the mage refused to help. Theo asks if he's being followed, and Victor confirms he's had a tail for a while. Theo's pissed. Victor didn't warn him sooner. He's clueless why she's tailing him. Before boarding, Lilia actually asked Victor to rig their schedules so they'd never meet. Secrets won't fly in this small town. Victor tries to step in, but Leo blocks him. He's handling this personally. She was ghosting him, and Leo needed to know why. Leo finds the girl in the bushes. He moves in to talk, but she instantly bolts. Shocked by her move, Theo froze. Sure, she hated him, until Victor arrived to comfort him. Theo bolts, screaming she wanted to surpass him. At only 35, Victor's too slow to stop him, only shouting his name. He drops to his knees, gasping for air, but he still misses her. Theo sprints to the field, greeting the workers with a quick nod. He stops to be polite, then asks if anyone's passed by. The crowd grills him on his target. He's hyped until they ask for details. He freezes, panic strikes. He's forgotten her name. He should have asked Victor her name sooner. He apologized for forgetting, leaving the crowd stunned. He tallied the all-male squad, searching for the one man missing. Theo scanned his allies and elemental masters. Only one name fit Arya. Name confirmed she's in the field. Theo remembers her from Cagliari Port. She was a stranger then, but now her face and voice are flooding back. He hadn't seen Arya since Cagliari, so he grills everyone, even the animals, to find her. Victor hauls logs, spots Theo, and asks if he caught her. One look at Theo's messy hair, and the leaf stuck in it, said it all. He was exhausted and had failed the mission. Victor figured Theo was just exhausted from the construction and offered him a break. He tried to apologize for the cold shoulder, but Theo denied being upset. Theod opens up, confessing his life finally got interesting the moment he arrived. Despite the struggle, they gained new allies and skills. Theo hadn't felt this rush in years, but as he talks to Victor, a girl eavesdrops from the trees. She tried to stay invisible around him, and he hated being the reason why. He wanted every adventurer here to enjoy every day with their friends. Theo shakes off the fatigue. Giselle's crew was way more exhausting than this. He believes pushing through the struggle now will make them smile later. Perched on a high branch, Arya tracked Theo and Victor's every word, body tense as she gripped her wand tight. Victor scanned Theo. Clueless, who was he talking about? He needed to know the players in this mystery, but Theo's scream cut him short as storm clouds gathered fast on the horizon. Victor recalls the mission, make it rain. Theo wonders if it's time, but the clouds look strange and oddly focused. Hovering right over the base, O spots a figure on the roof and knows exactly who it is. Arya stands firm atop a skyscraper, whispering a spell that pierces through space and time. Rain hits, instantly turning into a downpour. Victor and Theo watch in shock as nature itself reacts to the moment. Screams pierce the rain-soaked streets as panicked crowds scramble for cover under awnings and inside homes. Victor and Theos watch the storm as a figure emerges from the downpour, its Arya wand in hand and eyes full of grit. She's done it. She summoned the rain. Theo was certain she was Cagliari, the girl he'd met before. Theo recognized her face instantly. No hood, same mysterious eyes. Now he's certain she was dodging him on purpose, trying to stay invisible. He turns and she flinches. He's got to know why she's dodging him. What did he do? Theo apologized, but he had no clue what he'd done wrong. Suddenly she snapped, "What could you do?" It wasn't a question. It was a challenge. Glaring from her hood, she's fuming that he's forgotten. Her eyes burn with pure malice, ready to strike. Theo's body locked, heart racing as his eyes sharpened with caution. Sensing danger, Victor jumps in. He knows he should keep her secret, but he spills it anyway. Arya's just a nickname. She's actually a demon named Ares Stella, and the truth leaves Theo speechless. A face from the past flashes back. Theo remembers her. She drops her hood, revealing her true name and race, leaving Theodore jaw-dropped and speechless. Estella reveals her true identity. She's a demon, and the Demon Lord's daughter. Word spreads fast. The Demon King's daughter is in the village. Some doubt it's Arya, but an adventurer admits he knew her secret. The party is livid. He kept quiet. This was a total nightmare. If they met, she'd explode and ruin everything, so Theo's friends bolted to his side to dodge the disaster. The friends rush in to find Theo beaming, patting Aristella's shoulder in pure joy. She's grown so much, but looking at her, he still sees the same girl Theo's friends shout, and he turns, hands still on Aristillus. Their panicked faces scream danger, and Theo tenses up, sensing something's wrong. His friends fear Arya being Aristella means a fight to the death, but Theos doesn't get why they'd ever kill each other. Victor stays calm as his friends spiral. He knows why. They're terrified. They have no clue what really happened at the thank you party. Confused, the adventurers demanded answers about the party. Theo rubbed his head, knowing he had to explain. The party is actually the Demon Lord Killing Celebration, a victory festival for humanity hosted by the Demon Lord himself. The crew is stunned. The Demon King planned his own execution. They think Theo's just drunk, but he's desperate to explain the truth. Sensing they're hiding something, Theodore cuts to the chase. Why did the demons attack, and what do they want? The party is stunned. They scramble for excuses or stay silent, totally blindsided. He knows they're going nowhere until they settle this. The heroes' party expected a standard invasion, but they were dead wrong. The demons only attacked for a brutal contest of strength. They're stunned, Theo explains, that demons only respect power. After the heroes' party flexed their might, the Demon King was so impressed he swore never to invade human lands. Bold words for a guy nearly ripped in half. After Giselle's beatdown, he surrendered and swore to never invade human territory again. They failed to kill the Demon Lord, but left as allies. Now they're struggling to process the truth. The king is alive, and this massive secret was completely scrubbed from history. The truth behind the demon invasion was too insane to believe, and even Victor was skeptical. Theodore meets Arya at this party. She's just a small, innocent kid, and Giselle is there too. Getting closer, he finally sees it. She's the spitting image of the Demon King, wearing her father's cold, intimidating stare. Her friends got her fury, but she didn't realize Arya had become a total stranger, sparking their constant clashes. Theo figured she wouldn't recognize him. She's an adult now, and they only met once 10 years ago. Theodore stares at Arya in total confusion, desperate to know how he hurt her, and dying for a chance to make things right. Theo saw her blushing and looking away, then called her out for avoiding him and hurting his feelings. She suddenly apologizes for being immature. She was just salty. He forgot her, but promises to stop avoiding him, at least for now. She storms off while the party laughs at his misery. Theo watches her leave, feeling uneasy, like she was holding something back. Victor claps for attention. Theo built covered walkways for the snow. But this winter is brutal. Now they need to scavenge materials for winter gear. Theodore finished the wheels, but the festival setup and food caught him off guard. He still wondered what were they actually using to make winter clothes. Theo's confused, so Victor explains they're making winter gear from wild silk. It's the ancestor of normal silkworms, breathable and perfect for the cold. Mid-migration, a settler finds wild silkworms and bags them instantly. This massive win brings them one step closer to their new life. Theo brow-riffly grabs a cocoon and freezes in shock. It's massive. Normal cocoons are 100 times smaller, but these giants shatter his expectations. Victor warns of deadly monsters inside, while Theo fears the risk of collecting them. Theo gets the concept, but not the method. Victor dunks the cocoon in boiling water, unraveling the silk and killing the lava standard procedure for wild silkworms. Victor's top priority today is simple: have fun. He's breaking the grind to bond the team and rebuild their trust. Theopause hadn't spoken to Arya once since their last meeting. Her face haunted him. The festival was his chance. Right on cue, Arya appeared, clutching the cocoon with intense focus, completely ignoring him. Arya confronts the girls for answers, arriving just in time. A girl's necklace snaps and sinks into the well. She's frustrated, showing Arya the precious gift from her parents. Arya listens, sensing its true value. The girls ask her to fish the pendant out of the well. It's shallow, so she knows she can grab it. Arya casts a spell at the well, shifting the water. The girl starts the pump, and the pendant drops right into the bucket. The girls tackle her in a grateful hug, relieved to finally get their pendant back, while Victor and Thea watch from the sidelines. Theo's stunned by the trust she commands, but Victor's totally clueless who he's even mentioning. They trust Arja. She's a young, first-class magician who outworks everyone. Her complex spells do what manual labor can't, making her totally irreplaceable. Forcing a smile through his confusion, he listens to Victor. Arya says goodbye, gets thanked one last time, and turns to find Theo greeting her with a smile. He's magicless and stunned. Snagging a necklace from a deep well with water control takes insane precision. He finally thanked her for the rain. She knew they needed it, and it perfectly tested their drainage system. He felt guilty for waiting so long. Arya laughs, thinking he's overthinking. He'd come to apologize for not recognizing her after years apart, but her words pierce his heart, leaving him mortified. She tells him not to apologize. Arya crossed worlds just to see him, but now she's acting awkward, catching Theo completely off guard. Sada Company and spun silk followed. More silk meant more gear, and Shiro was hyped for a matching outfit. They pulled her back from the dangerous cocoon to keep her safe. She tosses the wild silk. The water erupts with massive force, and the pot flips, spilling everything. Theo screams her name in terror. She reacts instantly, using magic to pull the girl out of the danger zone. He clutched unconscious Theo, feeling helpless as the pot's cocoon began to warp and deform. The cocoon snaps. Threads tear as a living shape bursts out, leaving the group frozen in dead silence. Winged swarms burst from the cocoon, streaking toward the forest like light as the crowd froze in shock. Thin, glowing winged spirits vanish into the woods, leaving the crowd stunned. Nobody saw this coming. They never saw this coming. Insects usually die in boiling water, but maybe this place is different. Someone even joked they were boiling forest spirits. An adventurer shouts, drawing every eye to the thread with the spirits gone. It's now massive, unbreakable, and stretches effortlessly. Theo rushed to Arya, clutching the boy in relief. He bowed low, thanking her for saving him from the flames. Arya felt awkward, but to her, it was no big deal. He smiles at Arya, knowing she's born to be a great adventurer. She flashes back to the party where it all started. A young girl approaches him with a sincere smile, eyes full of curiosity, and a soft, clear voice. He leans down, locking eyes with the girl. How does the Demon King's daughter know his name? Simple. She read it in a book. She steeled herself, eyes sparking with a dream to become a legendary adventurer like him, brave, wise, and ready for anything. Theo's stunned by her confession. He smiles, knowing Giselle is braver and stronger than him. She deserves all the praise. Arya excitedly points to the story. He befriends dragons, fixes anything broken, and rescues anyone in trouble. She stared him down, but doubt gripped her heart. Did she really have the guts to pull this off? He drops to one knee in respect, pledging to be a mentor and friend for the adventures ahead. Inspired by his words, she trained non-stop, grinding her skills until she finally became a full-fledged adventurer. Rumors reach her Theo's heading to the New World. They reunite at a port city years later, but she's changed so much he doesn't even recognize her. Result, overwhelmed by joy and nerves, she couldn't speak. She hid behind the port buildings, vanishing into the crowd, while praying for one more chance to talk. Hiding was useless. He still remembered her, fueling her with newfound confidence. He remembered their talk, instantly regretting he didn't recognize her in Kalyali. She felt ashamed for hiding her identity. Anxious and embarrassed, she's terrified of making the wrong move. Theo wasn't surprised. He knew her success took grit and confidence, and he respected her for pushing through the doubt. She chose him as her hero. He felt unworthy, but he was beaming with pride and a hint of embarrassment. Theo stirs in his arms, heart racing. He watches her closely, desperate to know how she's holding up after the ordeal. Waking up, Theo immediately checks the threads. Theo points out the fine weave, and Theo beams with pride. Her hard work finally paid off. She wonders if they'll become clothes for. Theo worried the silk would run out, until Arya whispered in his ear. His face instantly lit up. He clearly loved what he heard. Theo, Shiro, and the wolf cubs put on their new thin thread scarves, loving the cozy warmth. Now rocking matching gear, the pack feels more united than ever. Arya's scarves match Theo's outfit perfectly. Theo hand-crafted them himself, his expert skill visible in every stitch. Theo hugs Arya, thanking her for the idea. Arya's confused since Theo made the scarves, but Theo just laughs and holds her tight, calling her amazing. Theo raved about Arya's magic and designs, her eyes glowing with awe. She craved that same strength and confidence, dreaming of performing miracles just like her. She told Theo this as a kid, certain she'd become whoever she wanted. She beamed at Theo with pure gratitude. The long struggle was worth it, and she knew even greater adventures were just beginning. Arya strolls confidently with their basket of loot. Soaking in the peace, Theo rushes to catch up, smiling and begging her to slow down so they can share the moment. Curry and Theo watch the pair smile, feeling pure joy. After all the drama, their friends finally bonded. Seeing them walk side by side proved every effort was worth it. The silk incident sparked her interest in magic. Through Arya, Theo decided he'd find a way to teach her later. She disagreed, her eyes flashing with resolve. It was time to start Theo's magic training to level up her power and their bond. Arya faces a crowd of magic students, suddenly thrust into the role of teacher. She's a total rookie, and the pressure has her shaking with nerves. Theo shouts her agreement. Calling Arya teacher, Arya smiles, blushing at the sudden, unexpected title. The group follows Theo's lead. Calling Arya teacher, blushing and flustered. She tells them to stop, feeling awkward, yet touched by their respect. Curry's confused, but Theo notices she's shocked to see a massive crowd of adventurers gathered for Arya's magic lesson. Mages studying magic is expected, but why are there so many warriors? Are they all planning to use magic? Theo smirks at her narrow view of mages as mere fireball hurlers. She asks if she's wrong, and he confirms her knowledge is shallow. Magic is far deeper than... Adventurers rely on physical enhancement magic. Normal humans can touch these monsters, so they buff their bodies to survive. Got it. Most use magic by instinct, making it weak. Master the theory to unlock its true power. Arya rockets skyward, flaunting her power to prove that mastering magical theory lets you shatter physical limits. Arya lands, and Theo rushes in, desperate to master flight, but Arya stops her. Patience is the first lesson. Arya explains everyone has mana, so keep it simple. Stir the energy like water in a jar and spread it through your body. This is the foundation of magic, and with practice, anyone can master it. She explains mana usually stays in the brain and organs. Overload your hand, and you'll burn out fast. Balance is everything, and the class is locked in. Theo's brain was melting from the info dump. Arya apologized for overcomplicating things, but Theo stood her ground, refusing to give up. Theo panics during the lecture, but Curry's confused. It's just a normal class. Theo explains Theo was raised by wolves, making this new culture a total shock, but Curry thinks he's just overreacting. Curry explains that kids live for discovery, recalling her own childhood obsession with monster manuals. She turns to Theo, confident the girl will adapt to this new world in no time. She's too young for this, so he insists they protect her. It's their duty to ensure she never struggles alone in this new world. He saw Theo unconscious and lunged toward her. Heart pounding, Curry screamed to stop him, but she was already too late. Feels paralyzed. Aria reveals it's intoxication magic. She calms Theo's panic, explaining this is normal for new mana users. Her body is just adapting to the energy, and she'll be fine. It's all part. Theo blinks awake. Seeing her, Theo smiles and cancels training for the day. No rush, her health is the priority. Theo sits up smiling, telling him she's okay. She tells him to stay back and watches silently. Theo's stunned into silence, staring in total shock at her newfound confidence. He tried to comfort her, but Theo cut him off. She wasn't backing down. This was a challenge to prove she could handle it all alone. Aria stood firm, insisting Theo is giving her all and needs support. She's certain Theo has potential and demands she get the chance to prove her strength and independence. She wished her dad would stop interrupting her studies and leave her alone, a cold rejection that stabbed Theo like a dagger, leaving him crushed but still worried. Theo collapses in tears, broken by the shock. A stunned Curry tries to calm him, warning him to stay out of it. Curry doubles down, claiming every father is eventually hated by his daughter. He wanted to support Theo, but this bitter truth only twists the knife. Frustrated, he quits, fearing he went too far. He admits he doesn't know his own darkness, taking the first step toward redemption. Curry thought Theo was invincible, but watching him lose his cool around kids is pure comedy. Curry snaps to beggarly F is gone. Theo's mind races. Did he leave for business, or is he hiding nearby? Dragons are mana masters. Theo figured it got bored and went to play with the cubs. Bagilia's kindness won Curry's trust, and Theo was stoked to see everyone bonding with these vital dragons. A shrill cry shatters the silence, and Theo and Curry whip around, eyes locked on the source with worried curiosity. The noise was Begalef, frantically coaxing a wolf cub down from a tree, terrified his little friend might fall. Panic spreads as Bagilef stands idle, but Theo and Theo charge in, determined to save the wolf cub and calm the dragon. Theo knew Bagaliev was too strong to risk the baby. The wolf cub snaps, plummeting from the tree. Theo lunges forward, snagging the baby with magic.